All right, what's up? What's up? Sorry, I'm a little late. I had to let the crew in there in the backyard, like painting our deck and doing the railings and all that. And the other people to get the door are busy as well, so I had to get it. And then they wanted to chat. It's always like right when the thing's going down, right? So how's everybody doing?
Doing good, man. Doing good.
Ryan, man, you're on a spaceship, brother. I like that. Looks good over there. Awesome, awesome. Well, if you guys got your cameras, turn them on so we can see your beautiful face. We can get this thing ripping and roaring. So for those of you that are new, um, which is basically just Ryan at this point, what we do on this call is hopefully not have me talking the whole time. Tends to be something that happens, so I have to be interrupted. But yeah, it's really just to get your questions answered. And as you're going through the program or just anything that you're doing in terms of, growing the business, attracting new people, converting people, delivering, creating the product, any of those things, you bring them here and we get them knocked out. We get them finished. I'm just now working on pillar 5 of the new build lab. But yeah, pretty pumped up getting the rest of that put in there. It's been a busy week. These are recorded. You can go find them in the member area. If you just go over to the community, there's like a Collab Q&A recording where I put all these afterwards. So anyways, how's everybody doing?
Doing good.
Doing good. Awesome. Andreas, I got to tell you, man, that your office, when I see you in your office right now, and then I see your TikToks with that blue, this shit changes it, man. It's like you're in a completely different place.
Yep.
It's awesome.
The background lights.
Yeah, it matters, dude. I like that blue background. That's good.
Yeah. For a while, I was changing different colors and trying to see what I wanted, but I was like, let me just keep it consistent with the blue.
Yeah, it's nice. Your shorts are freaking awesome, man. If you guys haven't seen his shorts, go check them out. You crush it with that.
No, I appreciate that.
Yeah. So what's up? What is going on?
I wanted to ask you about the VSLs.
Yeah.
So, like in this case, after learning the program, coming up with the course, and coming up with the VSL, it's fairly new. So there's not going to be a lot of testimonials or social proof. So how can you kind of work around that?
So whenever you don't have social proof or testimonials, the best thing that you can do is just go show them the stuff, right? Like because if you think about it, you could have, the president of every country and the leader of every organization be like, yeah, Andreas, man, he can fly. I swear to God, like the guy can fly. And everybody be like, people can't actually fly, I mean, but if you're just like, all right, guys, so here I am in my yard, watch this. And you just take off. It's like, I don't need a testimonial. So the best thing that you can do is just show me, right? Just show me. Mix the two colors together. If you really say it's going to turn green, just show me, blue and yellow, mix it. Bam. That's the best thing that you can do. The next thing is just go get some testimonials, right? Just go do some work for free. It sucks, especially if you're an agency, because I used to do the agency thing, and it's easy to think about. It's easy to like, oh yeah, I could just go do that. But you have this thing called time. And it's like, well, I got to spend my time with my people, the people that have paid me. It's kind of a weird thing. Right. But then you can also do something else. You could go to every one of your previous customers that you've ever worked with already, which I know you have, because I've seen it. And you could just ask them flat out, hey, what's your favorite thing about working with us? And just buy them a freaking dinner or something. You know what I mean? Just, send them $100 or something. Sometimes I don't like to pay for it. Usually they'll just give it to you. But if it's like, I always just try to make it worth somebody's time in some way, shape, or form. One of the best ways that I will do, and I'll do it to you guys, but one of the best ways to do it is just leverage what somebody wants. So I'll just take a course. I'll take something that you want really, really bad. I'll go over the top with like something, or it's maybe that next place you're going to move into in terms of like what's after, after you get through like some of the build lab stuff, what's that next layer? and I'll just put together a course with like 2 or 3 good videos that just, lay it all out in super detail. And I'll just say, hey, these will be, I'll unlock these for you. If you can just send me a 1-minute video telling me what your favorite things were about Build Lab. And when I was going through Consulting Accelerator and Up Level and stuff with Sam Ovens, that's what he did. And consulting, because he had like 3,800 or something testimonials. I'm like, how the hell did he get all these testimonials? How'd you get all these people to do it? Well, when you get through the course in Accelerator, if you want to move to Up Level, where in Accelerator, you're basically learning how to go out and do the done for you and done with you agency stuff. And then at the end, he teases you and he's like, hey, if you give me a video testimonial sharing with me what you loved about Consulting Accelerator, I'll give you this next video that's normally for the people in Up Level, which is his next level. He would give you a pretty nice taste of that and what to do if you just sent a video to him. And then he just posted all those. And that's another way you can get some testimonials that way. But in the beginning, I'll tell you what, so many people, and I was there too. I remember I'm like, God damn, I don't even have any testimonials. What am I going to do? Like people ain't going to believe me. There's all this other people out there that do what I do, but they got testimonials. And I was like, finally, I was in a place where it's like, well, testimonials or not, I don't got a choice. I have to launch this shit and try to sell it. So I was like, I didn't have a choice, and I knew what I was doing, but I didn't have like a bunch of people telling me that, because I had a bunch of agency stuff and I was switching from agency to here's how to do what I was doing in the agency for people. I'm just going to show you how to do it so that you can do it yourself. And so I didn't have anybody that had actually taken that program yet of me just teaching them how to do it. All I had was my testimonial. So I just worked with what I had. I was like, guys, for the last 6 years, I've been freaking doing social media marketing and email marketing and ads and all this shit for everybody else. Now I'm going to just teach you what it is that I'm going to do. Matter of fact, and then I would just show them a little bit of it. But I just went with it, man. Like I wouldn't even just go with it and explain to them, tell stories, validate yourself through the stories. And, the people that believe you will get started with you, and then work with them, get them results. And then you've got a testimonial, and then it just builds upon that. I can't even tell you how many VSLs I've made, dude. You'll just keep making them because you'll get better results. And the best marketing you could ever have is just a badass product. That's it. Like nothing will market your business better. No ad, no retargeting, no jumping around on video, nothing, no, influencer, nothing is going to promote your product better than just having a badass product. Like if it works and people enjoy it and they have support, then they'll buy it, and then they'll get results, and then they'll just tell other people, and nothing works better than that. So that's always like the epoch of like what we need to create is this, the badass product. But just create it. Just create the VSL. And I used to spend a lot of time trying to make a VSL. Like, man, I had animations, I had freaking stories, I had all this shit. And I would spend, I'm not even lying, man, I'd spend 40, 50 hours trying to make a 30-minute video. And it worked. I've had VSLs that were like 3 hours long. I've had ones that are like 15 minutes long. And then I've had ones that are just I'll tell you the best one right now that I've ever shot and created. I literally just stood in front of my whiteboard and just got real with people. And I just shared with them what it is that I'm doing. And I just came from my heart. And I was like, I'm here to help you. And that's just where it came from. And that one actually converts the best. The second best one, it's just the one I'm going to show you guys how to start, because if you can start with the one I'm going to show you how to do, then it'll just naturally evolve into the next part, which is just on one Google Doc. You just want to put like, here's what this thing is. And then you want to be like, here's how this thing works. And then you want to be like, here's the investment and here's how to get started. And I know it's like against every heartfelt David Ogilvy copywriting book and everything, but I'm telling you, there's something about just putting it on there and just talking to the person and saying, here's what it is that we do to help you. Here's why we do this stuff. Here's how it works. And here's how to get started. And while you're going through that process, you're going to, if you do your marketing correctly, you'll start to just naturally evolve your message. And then you'll just naturally want to go redo your VSL. And then you'll just naturally want to redo your follow-up emails. And that's why I don't care if you have $1 billion a day to spend on ads. If you really give a shit about what you're doing and you really want this thing to like work and you really want to be able to do it good, the best thing that you can do is content marketing via video, and just do it as much as you possibly can, as if you were, Michael Jordan practicing 3-pointers or something. You would want to practice video that much. I mean, these guys shoot thousands of shots in practice. And then people come into a course or a program like this, and they'll put up a VSL video, the first one they ever created, ever. And they'll be like, dude, it didn't work, man. Like, what? Like, I'm like, oh, so you've been making 50, 60 grand a year for the last 5 years, and you've never made more than that. And you come in here, and then all of a sudden, in one video that you've never created before or something you've never done before, you're pissed off because you're not making $500,000.
Wow.
It's just like, sometimes we have to put things into perspective, and you just got to do the thing. But man, just do it. Like, I can't stress that enough. People get so hung up in like things that just do not matter at all. And I was there. I've literally made all these mistakes more than once, knowing better even. So just create it. I just think about it like this. I'm like, hey guys, you have this problem, right? Well, I figured out how to solve it. Here's how I solve it. Here's the thing that I do to solve it. And if you want to get the solution, here's how to get it. All right. So, and if you have questions about it, ask. But just think about it that simple. It's like we get all messed up because we see all this stuff out there and we think that that's what it takes to do it. And it's not. You can always make everything awesome. Like, but you have to just start doing it and just create the damn thing. I've created VSL. I mean, it's so, you want to model somebody, but then it's like, then you end up being so much like them that it's like you lose you, and people aren't buying them. They don't need a second-rate version of that person. They need you. And it's like, it's probably the most difficult thing that we create. That and the emails, I would say. The VSL video and the follow-up emails, those typically hold people up the hardest. And then like just getting somebody to actually do content and stuff like that, because they're scared about what they look like or what they're not saying shit right or whatever. But you're past that, dude. You nail it. I mean, you should have no problem creating VSL video.
Yeah, like I said, I have one made, but that was before I even thought about offering how to do the back end funnels. So it's more focused on brand awareness and helping you build your social, where now I'm transitioning. So I was like, well, I want to kind of explain what I can do. Obviously, I'm not there yet, but I was trying to figure out a way to show some proof of that. But I guess, like you said, just even once the course is built out, even just showing visuals of the course itself and doing it that way.
Just be who you are with what you got. Like, guys, this is what I got. I've got this nail, I've got this hammer, and I'm going to show you how to put these two things together to hang the picture. And just be where you are and move from where you are. Right? That's the best advice I can give anybody. And as I go through business more, I used to complicate the hell out of this stuff. And I used to be like so reserved in certain ways. And I'm like, God damn it. All I'm doing is I'm helping people solve a flipping problem. Why does this got to be such a, like, just get on there and help them and talk to them. And people really love that. I'll tell you what, as you do your marketing, you could, I've had people literally, I'm not even lying, like they're like, dude, I didn't even watch your VSL. I just got started because like I was watching your content online and I was ready to go.
True.
And so really it's like that the better that you show up and tell stories and help people and just be who you are. Like, I'm not trying to be Oprah or some shit. I'm just trying to tell you, like, it's so wild. People just want authenticity. And the other day I made this post, and I know Fitzgerald, I've been saying this, but it's like when everything becomes a fucking machine and AI and all this stuff, the human will be very valuable. The human will reappear. And people just want like that, you know?
Well, Mike, I think what like really stands out, I've been in this space a long time. And what I like about the way you do things is the visuals. And you have a visual for every, like one of my military buddies was a pilot and they call it the yellow brick road. It takes a long time to be a pilot, but you have to do it in bite-sized chunks. And the way that you visualize it with all of your diagrams, it makes it easy for people to digest a difficult task, right? Because they can see like, oh, here's the path. And so you're showing the path in your content and in your VSL, and they're like, oh, now I see the path. I want you to help me do it. And so I think that's the beauty. Have you been doing these visual whiteboards and things for a long time, or is this a new approach that you just started?
I have literally since a kid have always been, I'm kind of artistic just by nature, but I'm just a visual creature. And I've always just used, like, I can explain something so much better with lines and boxes all the way down to like anything I'm explaining, right? Like if I'm talking to somebody and I can't get the shit across, I can't get that point across. I'm like, look, and I'll just, I'll grab like a piece of paper and I'll like kind of etch it out. And they're like, oh, and I'm like, okay, well, and it helps me so much. And so I'll tell you, like, you know, a few things happened to me that made me realize this. Number one is I kept trying to like build funnels and emails and stuff in my head. And I was like, damn it, I can't remember like what I was thinking about. And so I just started writing it down. I'm like, okay, they're going to have to go from here to here and then from here to here. And then all of a sudden it was like people were starting to pick this up. They were like, oh, and then I started seeing like Russell Brunson. He was like selling magnets that look like little funnel pieces and shit. And I'm like, oh God, this is perfect. And then I started like really just using that all the time to teach my clients when I was doing agency work. Cause they're like, you want to do a what? A fun? What do you mean? A funnel? What do you mean? And so I was always having to draw it out for my clients to sell them my service when I was doing done for you. And it was like, the moment I would draw it out, they're like, oh, it was like, they just instantly got it. And then I started, you know, reading more into things. And I was like, well, if a picture is worth 1,000 words, you know, me doing a video with a visual, I don't even know how that's going to do it, you know, like what's that worth? And then all of a sudden it was like, I read that our brain thinks in terms of images anyway. And then our brain is picking up images and we make connections 60,000 times faster when we're being shown a visual on top of explanation. And then I was like, well, shit. And then everything that I ever tried to understand, like, I'll never forget, there was like, have you ever seen that video? It's called like The Life Inside of a Cell. Like where it's like some dude from MIT made it. And it shows how everything works in a single cell, like how the mitochondria like hooks onto shit and like walks the food down. And as soon as I seen those visuals, I was like, oh, now I get what a mitochondria is, or now I get what these things are. And it was just like, all right, well, if I'm going to explain something, I'm just going to use a visual. And then it's like when I redo the board here like this, I practically put the same thing on it all the time. But if I move things around, it's like people just get so enthralled with that. They're like, can you move? I'll be doing lives. They're like, can you step to the side so I can see that? It's like they're so intrigued by it. And they're like, they love the complexity of it. And I'm like, you know, and so I mean, I can't tell you how much money this stupid $50 or $100 whiteboard has made me. Like,
I know it has, because I've seen your lives, and you even have like a second or a third board. When someone asks you a question and it's not on that board, you turn your camera, go over here, and they're like, how many freaking boards this dude got?
Yeah, that one right
It's
there. Yeah,
board inception.
it is,
Yeah.
dude. And then I've got another one over here, and it's just, but it is literally a better way for me to like explain things. You know, and
the Egyptians, they wrote hieroglyphics for a reason.
yeah, I mean, I can't tell you like how important it is to have stuff like that. And then when I got Miro, I was like, holy shit. Like, I was like, whoa, whoa. Like, it was like Christmas. I was like, this is like whiteboard on steroids, you know, like, and I can put icons and shit. I don't have to draw this. Cause I'm always like, how the hell do I draw this? You know?
I was using Figma, but I like Miro now. You got me addicted to Miro.
I used Figma a little bit. I learned about it through, I think, Sam, because he was like using Figma. And I was like, no, I had it before that. And then he used Figma. I tried it and I went back to Miro. I like the functions of it. But
yeah,
I'll tell you what, one thing that I've learned with the board stuff is if you want to get a different kind of client, this is such a cool little thing. If I say, and I test this stuff all the time, if I say something like, you know, and you know, so give it a try, you want to get started, you're going to attract somebody that's never tried it before. They're a complete beginner. But if you say something like, you know, you've got 2 or 3 clients and you just don't know how to get past the rest, now you've automatically brought a different client to you. And if you can get into
Absolutely.
like talking about numbers, because most people that are making money already that can afford your program or that want your program or that are going to be a better client overall, they're already past a lot of the, you can do it, Bill. I mean, they still need that shit sometimes. You know, we all need that every once in a while. I like what Zig Ziglar said. He's like, personal development's kind of like taking a shower. If you don't do it after a while, you start stinking, right? And so it's like the same thing with that. But when you get into like, if you start talking about even simple numbers, like, you know, how many leads per day you need to get to this amount of money, if everything, if these numbers and the conversion rates and leads to sale, your person that's past the, yeah, I think I can do this. You know, the brand new person, the person that's like making money, they're crunching numbers because they realize that all this is just math and tenacity. You know, it's like math and like if you have a problem you can solve, the rest of it's just math and do it power, you know, and being consistent. So, you know, and there's little quirks and kinks and little things that you can do, and, you know, getting into team building and shit like that's a whole nother dynamic. But talk about the specifics of things, right? But just always remember one thing, like, don't talk about the plane ride. You can talk about it, you can weave it in there, but people buy the destination, right? And it's really easy, especially with this type of shit. You can get all into the nitty gritty, and there's, you know, you'll have your people that like that and think that that's the thing, but it's that destination. You know, they want the destination. Nobody really wants to go to the gym. I mean, people love it, and then they get in there, they enjoy it, and then shit starts pumping into their blood, and they love that feeling and everything. But if they could honestly just press a button and have a 6-pack and a chest and all that shit, they would press the button every single time. And it's like, you have to remember that, because nobody wants to build a funnel. They just want what the funnel does once it's built. So if you can infuse both of those things, and that's where this is where, until you just do it, because I can say that stuff and you're like, fuck, how am I going to, you know, or what? I don't know how to remember to do all that stuff. I don't either. What happens is you just do it so much that these nuanceful, like, third perspective behavior type things just come out of you. Like every single day, if you shot 5 TikToks just manually without thinking about, like, you know, problem, agitate, solve, hook, story, offer. We get so hooked into these like ways to do it. How about just turning it on and be like, hey guys, I sell pizza. And, you know, one of the things yesterday, a guy came in to eat pizza. If you can prompt yourself to get stories coming out, but know that you're going to talk about your product or solution or service or whatever it is that you've got, you'll do so much better. Like stories are just like, it's kind of like showing somebody text on a screen versus a picture. You're always wanting to paint the picture. You know, why do you think movies, like you could be the most hardcore gangster murderer, just chewing on gravel badass, but you can go to a movie and it can make you cry. You know, it can move you. And so what does that mean? It means because like the moment you start, well, just for instance, like the other day, like the moment I say that, you're like, oh shit, it's this story thing cracks in your head. So just get really good when you're doing any kind of content, any kind of VSL, anything. Every time that I'm like going through something, I'm like, I need to prompt myself for a story. And it's always like, well, what we were trying to do was, you know, or, you know, I woke up this morning. It's like any like entry point into something where you're going to explain how you got to this, you know, place you were trying to get to. That's it. I used to read I have all these damn books about storytelling and all this stuff. And you already do it all day. I guarantee if I followed every single one of you around, you all tell stories all day, just all day. Your wife or your husband or whatever, you know, there's no girls on, but oh, got to be careful. But if you know, if your spouse like asks you something like, where were you? Well, I went to the store. I was going to get some water bottles but those shoes I got about halfway home and there was still the thing on it, you know, so I had to go back. And that stuff there is really where the power of everything happens with your business. It's like at the end of the day, you sell water bottles. What are you going to do now? How are you going to market this? How are you going to get people to buy it? You know?
And also knowing your customer. A big lately in the past, you know, working with Mike, I mean, we all love him, right? But one of the things that I've been mulling over going through his program is like also knowing your audience, right? Like I know we've probably heard it. There's so many courses out there, right? Like know your niche, all this stuff. But it's like, for me, it's like each layer that you know the person you're working with deeper and deeper gives you new insights on what the right marketing angle is, what the right funnel is, what is the right, you know, just because when you're doing those lives or whatever, you're getting direct feedback from people. So like knowing who it is you're selling to very, very well, I feel like we pass over it because we've seen it so many in different courses. But for me, that's been a big needle mover.
You know, Ryan Fitzgerald, I know you guys have got some time in the game. Andreas, I know you've been in the game a bit. The easiest way to read your customer's journal is literally to go to frickin' YouTube comments with vidIQ. It is the most powerful thing. If you treated that, if you were like, I'm going to die today if I don't read, 20 minutes of comments on YouTube videos that talk about the same shit I talk about, you will get such an education about them.
That's been a game changer. I didn't like until I took your course. I didn't even know about it. Like I think I've heard. I think one of, I forget his name, Ali. His name is Ali. He does productivity.
Yeah, he's good.
And I saw one of his stuff. I think he mentioned some extension, but I have to be honest, I hate extensions. But the point is that like using this vidIQ, I've been just obsessing, reading just the comments.
It's the most powerful thing. If I know what you feel like inside, I can fuck with you.
Yeah,
like
in a good way.
No,
it is, Ricardo.
It's also the other hack was your Amazon comments as well. That was like,
oh yeah,
just going
you got to read
books.
both perspectives too. Like you got to read both, but they'll tell you what they're missing. You want to make a product? You want to make another shoe? Well, Mike, there's millions of shoes. Why would they buy mine?
Yeah.
Go read about every flipping shoe and you'll hear somebody bitching about something, and then start stacking a bitching pile, start stacking a I love pile.
Yeah.
And you will see patterns, and you can literally go in and color code them in a Google Doc. I can't even tell you when I first started My VSLs just got so potent and my emails got so deadly. I'll tell you right now, my emails aren't that deadly right now. My shit's not that deadly. I'm rebuilding the program again. But as the moment I'm not focused on building out the program every single moment of the day, like thinking about it in a certain way, I'll be just deep into the research factor of things. And it's like when you go read about everything, and I'll just take a Google Docs file and open it. Sorry, they're putting my railing on my deck. They had to paint it, but I don't even know if you can hear it. But the thing that I'll do is I'll get a Google Doc, and on that Google Doc, I will just go in. I'll have vidIQ pulled up, questions, and I just go to I think of like every single thing that my client would possibly type in to get fixed. Yeah, Answer the Public's amazing. I think what's his doodle just bought that thing.
Yep.
Uber Suggest boy.
Yeah.
Just bought that too.
The
Anyway,
SEO guy, the SEO.
Yeah. Patel.
Patel.
Neil Patel. He's awesome too. But if you go into Answer the Public's really good, but there's something about going into the comments and try to find those. If you know your stuff about what you're helping people solve, just go ask those intricate questions into the, Google, like you're looking for, like, how do I improve my conversion rate for my sales page? And go find the top videos where they're showing you how to do that. And then hit those, what are the questions? Because if they've watched a video that shows them how to do that and they still have these questions, I just copy and paste them right in. And I'm sure there's all kinds of AI tools that do this shit for you. But there's something about just digging in there and finding that stuff and reading those like reviews and comments. Dude, you'll be a beast when you go to create your video. I always do that. And that's what I like about lives too. Because you'll get people on there asking questions and you got to demand it. Like, guys, what is your question? Because everybody's like, well, I don't want to say anything, or, I'm just, you have to help people. Producers and consumers are different people, period. They're different people. I didn't say one couldn't be the other or learn to be the other, or, whatever. We're both. But when you're a producer, it's different, especially like entrepreneurial. You're literally raising your hand and saying, well, I'm going to be a problem solver, so bring it on. And that's all you're doing. And that's why you get paid, and you get paid really well. Right? I mean, we're getting ready to move and put all our shit somewhere. And I was like, man, and I know this exists, but I was just in my head, I'm like, I wish I could just call somebody and I don't even have to tell them shit. They come here, they box everything up nicely, they organize everything, they clean everything. And it just, when I get to the other place, it's all set up. I didn't have to do shit. I don't care how they do it, because I'll move it around once it's there. And you can do that. It's like $5,000 and they'll just come do it, And I'm like, because it's like a massive problem, for me. Like, I just don't want to mess with it. And it's like, that's how it's like. So literally, if somebody's doing a VSL or somebody's like thinking to sell me on that, if I'm like going through the, wasting time or whatever, and somebody's like, dude, are you getting ready to move? And you're just like, God, I wish I could just press a button and everything was like there. I would instantly be hooked in. Like, they would be like, they would just grab me and I would go into that rabbit hole. And it's because they know like how, like, who is that guy? I think maybe it was Frank, or I don't know. He's like, what, imagine your person has this problem that you help them solve. What do they wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning going, God damn, if I could just, and whatever that next thing is, you need to know that deeply, and you need to be able to restate it to them. Because the moment you can restate somebody's problem to them exactly how they feel it, you definitely have their attention for a moment, where you can then, and if you can show them how to relieve it, and then you just have to realize you're going to have to show up a little bit. Like, people, whether they want, listen, I see stuff all the time and I'm like, damn, that's good. And I don't buy it right away. But if it keeps showing up in my face, I'm like, I learn more and I'm like, okay. And, you know, even though I could even trust it, like, yeah, I see it's good. Yeah, I'm sure it does work. And then I just don't get it. And then if it keeps showing up in front of me, watches are the worst. If you look at watches and shit, they'll just hammer you with like the sickest looking stuff all the time. And you got to like guard yourself. Like I could pull the trigger on so many of those damn things, you know, and it's like but then their guy could be like, oh, our marketing's not working. No, just keep showing up. And all of a sudden, you know, it's like people just need time. They need exposure to you.
Mm-hmm.
Mike, can I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
So I know for 99, like the majority of the people who are doing the model of the subscription model, doing this funnel and all that stuff works. But I just had a quick question to play devil's advocate. Do you think that a VSL is redundant on a platform like TikTok? Like, I was doing a lot of research and I was trying to split test like with the funnel, with the VSL versus just book a call form, you know, application form, and then Calendly link. And I've been trying to split test those things. And I just know from my use, like I'm seeing in my use case, like high ticket B2B kind of scenario, people are wanting to opt in just to the application form and booking a call, then sitting through a 20-minute opting in for a free training. Like, I don't know if that applies to everybody, right? But people who, I'm just seeing that difference. I just want to know your thoughts on that.
I think, you know, both of them can be viable. Obviously, it depends on your, you know, where your client's at and how educated they are before you even get to them. But secondly, at the end of the day, if I were to just have to bet on one or the other, I would bet on the VSL every time, just because people that could make the booking thing happen are probably doing such a good job every day producing micro VSLs in the form of TikToks or YouTube shorts or YouTube long form videos that are like that one guy. I don't know if you guys know, he was on, he's like scary. He's like, he got out of prison for 10 years and he's on Brad Lee's Dropping Bombs. And he's like, he's all tatted and scary looking, you know, like he's bald headed guy with a beard kind of thing. Do you guys know who I'm talking about?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, anyway, he's just a scary dude that was in prison, you know, and like, he's just hardcore as mofo, and he's crushing it though. Like, I mean, he's doing millions a month, and he's like, yeah, every video I create's a VSL. He's like, I just pop VSLs all day long. Every video is a VSL. Why wouldn't it be, you know? And I like that, because every little thing that I'm doing, every live, in my opinion, is a micro VSL. And I think about the format of a live, you know, problem, agitate, solve, hook, story, offer. If you can produce those things and send them straight to a booking page, I'm sure it will work. But I would have both.
I think price point's a big thing too. Like if it's low ticket like this, that's hard to scale with manpower to do those calls. But having the calendar when you're upselling them maybe into services, like if you have a funnel builder, all this stuff is built out for them. They might have some questions about, hey, how does this work? Because I've done both. I've done going to calls and just selling high ticket and doing the subscription. And what I found is just having a chat widget on the landing page and then doing the lives like Mike does. But those people are going to find you, ask that question. As soon as you give them the answer they want, they just go and buy. You don't have to do a 20-30 minute call with them for them to spend $100.
I would never do a call for anything under $3,000.
100%.
Yeah, that's the thing. So I'm leaning more at, like, I'm in Sam's. I feel bad because I'm in Sam's. I'm in the beta program for the subscription, which
the WeTube?
No, the subscription. How he had the beta program for subscription for Skool.
Like his
he picked like 100 people to do the subscription thing to test, which he hasn't.
The billing page or the sign up
billing
thing. Yeah,
it's like recurring. In any event, the point is I feel bad because I wanted to go and doing a subscription, but I'm finding out that more and more that like my program is more high ticket. So I'm like trying to, I feel bad because like I didn't want to take up that spot. But and Ryan, in your experience, you were saying that you've done both. And I found it really depends on like the person and the product, right? So depending on the speed of the product, depending on if there's a beginning and an end, depending if there's a depending on the details and the scope of the product and the person you're working with, it's like, you know what I mean? So if you're selling something between, you know, $5,000 and $10,000, it's like going through that call kind of process, I felt is better than, or I'm seeing, at least I'm split testing both. But it's like, if you're a business owner, like for example, I'm like, you're a business owner, right? Ryan, you're a business owner, I'm assuming as well. Like, you know, we're online business owners, so we've seen all the VSLs, we've seen the webinar registration and all the stuff, right? So it's like, do we really want to, if we like a person and we have that pain point, do we want to sit through that if we're already convinced based on their content? That's kind of a question.
Well, that's the great thing, the way I mirrored Mike's page because it's so brilliantly done, where the VSL's there for people that want to be walked through, but then below it, it's all visual again. So it just kind of takes what he has on his whiteboards and puts it in a more digitalized version, and people can just go through. And then the FAQs at the bottom are huge because then people can just get their questions at, because some people are readers, some people are watchers. Like my wife's a reader. She's like, if there's not a whole text section and there's just a video, I'm out. And that's going to be some of the population. So giving them both is huge. But I think you're right. If it's a 3,000 plus, like up front, you're probably going to have trouble selling that just with the page. Like they're going to want someone to reassure them that they're making a good decision. And I've done that. Like, and I realize that's not the model that I want. I'd rather do what Mike's doing, where I get people in at almost free. I mean, $97 is, to me, is almost free because information's free. They're just paying for some organized information and for some support. And then on the back end, once I've built that trust, that's where I'm going to sell my high ticket. I'm going to sell video editing. I'm going to sell all the landing pages. Everything's already pre-built. They literally just can copy and paste it. And then SEO, right? And so that's like my plan. So on that back end, I can make up, even if I'm losing money on acquiring someone, I can make up on the back end. Now they trust me. So getting 3, 5, 10 grand from them is a lot easier because they've already paid. Where it's a lot tougher when no one spent money with you and you're like, give me 10 grand. It can be done, but your shit has to be fucking dialed.
Yeah. Dude, Ryan, it's exactly like I've done 100%. The high ticket. I know I can go right now, switch Build Lab over, add a few things to it and run a high ticket off of it, set up some calls, do 5 to 7, 30 to 45 minute calls a day and crank. And
it's a lot of work.
Get a sales guy and do all that shit. But I just look at it like this. Love him or hate him, which I don't have an opinion either way. I'm just watching what he's doing. Andrew Tate's got a hell of a thing. Now, I'll never have the exposure that man has just because of that's just not, I know that, right? I'm not going to go do those things. But 10 million a month with a paid subscription program, and then you can launch it up into bigger things. I mean, I've already done the high ticket stuff. So here's what I'm playing: the long game. Yeah. I don't care how I chop this up. I've been doing this shit for 17 years already. It's like, this is me. This is who I am. This is the toy I mastered. So this is going to be me. And I like it. I'm not even like, oh God, I got to do this shit. I love it. Like I literally love it. Okay. So this is me. I'm going to do this. So I know I got a 20, 30 year ahead of me, or just basically till I'm dead. Probably I'll be, but
no, I love the model.
But the point I want to make is this: if I can get 5,000-10,000 people in the next 20 years to subscribe to Build Lab and have a high ticket 36,000 a year mastermind that happens 4 times a year for 3 days at a time. And then of course I'm going to take the overflow of that and stick it into, safe, positive investments and just get cash flow and just, and just keep doing my thing and just play the game. I mean, I'm just playing the game and learning little intricacies. But once you have this, I mean, I looked at I'm doing these calls for like $6 an hour.
Yeah.
But
It's a compounding.
It plays
it's a
in the
compounding
back.
thing. Yeah. It's a compounding.
I've already had like 5 or 6 people at a build lab. They're like, what is, just tell me how much and to like work with you, help me set the funnels up. And I'm like, it's 10 grand or something. Like, all right. So now what do I do? And it's like, it just peels off of that. It just naturally happens. But these are good for you. Listen, I'm making decent money with Build Lab, number one.
Yeah.
Number two, it's an incubator. And number three, it keeps you sharp.
Yeah.
You got to have something like, it's hard,
No,
man.
to be honest, I want to do both. I'm thinking about doing both. To be honest, I'm thinking about having, one, like Ryan said, $97 a month just for kind of basic stuff, coming in, doing weekly coaching, group coaching, similar format to this, and then having both, just because I think it's I think the future, that's where the future is going to be, is just like having those communities. You know what I mean?
But here's the secret. Don't make this basic. Make like, this is what I restructured everything. Cause I was like, I had this thing called the master class. It had everything in it, but it was all over the place. I was like, people can just pick and choose. Confused mind does nothing. So now I'm like, I'm going to do the pillars, but within those pillars, I'll link out to more detailed stuff. So like, if you want to learn how to make really good video, I had that within the program, but then it's like too much. But then when they link out, they see they have all this, and then they link out and they have another program, they link out. But then when you overwhelm them with that, the path is clear, but then they overwhelm by how many pillars outside of that you have. Now they're like, well, how much can I pay you just to do it for me?
And an elephant.
Yeah. And so a lot of people do the thing where like, oh, I'm just going to give them the basics, but then they feel like they didn't really get what they wanted. Overwhelm them with content and go into minute detail in those, like those separate programs. And then when they see how much it actually takes, like the effort that it takes, they're going to reach out and be like, hey, is there a way you can just do this for me? And then they're already halfway sold. Now it's just like making sure the numbers work for them, and they're at a point in their business. Cause I think that's where you really build a business, when you can tell someone you're not ready for this. Like, everybody's so money hungry and like trying to sign people up. If you get people that are broke and you sign them up for a high ticket, you're going to get a lot of hate, because they're not going to succeed. They're not ready. And so
No, I'm sorry to interrupt. No, it's Ryan, you're like spot on 100%. I guess maybe that's even my, I think I have the reverse trauma that Mike did, right? Like, Mike went through the high ticket and then was like, you know what, I'd rather build a relationship, do the long term, all that stuff. For me, I did the reverse while I was doing consulting, and a lot of the time I realized, like, these people are not, I'm a high performance coach, so it's like I was selling lower ticket, and it was people that weren't taking it seriously. Like, they can't even wake up in the morning time, never, like, and they don't take it seriously, and then they kind of bought it and they forgot they bought it. So then I'm like, okay, I want people who actually take themselves seriously and want to invest in improving themselves. And I just noticed a trend that there are certain demographics which are more, where that's a bigger pain point, self-actualization, high performance, all that stuff. That's a bigger pain point in a different demographic. You know what I mean?
That's 100%.
But yeah, no, I get it, man. I'll
tell you what, with the Build Lab and like this lower ticket, I just like, I give all I got in it, and I'll be giving a lot more. But when you're building a program, it's like each and every pillar, like, I wanted to be a lot more completed with it at this time, but I'm like, I want to make this thing, like, I've already had a few people that came into it, and they don't ever get on the calls, which you should get on. But they send me, they're like, dude, I've paid 10 grand for a course. And they're like, what you talk about and what you provide with support and everything in your daily gravities inside a Build Lab is worth more than that. And to me, if you can make it more, and I got into Andrew Tate's $49 a month thing just because I wanted to see like what it was about. Like, I mean, and so like, I was like, well, I'm going to just give that $10,000 package to somebody for $97 or $597 a year. And I feel silly about it. It's like, damn, dude, I know I can go higher. I'm just slowing down to go fast. But I'm like, if I can make this thing so potent, you know, and it's going to take some evolutions here. Like Build Lab's going to take a few years to get where I have it, where it's like, like people are going to be like, God damn, you won't even believe it. And I'm like, dude, you know, that's to me, like selling your higher ticket stuff. And essentially when you're saying that, you're like selling more of you in person kind of thing, or like more of you is what they end up getting, which, dude, this is easy work. I mean, I hate to say the word easy because you have to get there, but once you understand the basic principles and the paradigms and some of the different mental models that are applied here and what we're doing, and you got your math game figured out in terms of like your numbers and stuff like that, it's just like farming. Okay. It's like you're taking, you know,
I forget who said it, where it was like, you want to make them feel like they stole from you. Right? I can't remember. Someone said that, where it's like, you want to make them feel like they're stealing, like where they
Abraham,
feel bad.
I think is a guy that says that all the time. They should feel like they're ripping you off.
Yeah. And that's what my people say. They come in, they're like, I didn't know I was getting all of this.
Yeah.
And they're like, this is crazy. And then that builds a community.
Yeah.
Or scale. It's like you're scaling the unscalable. People are like $97 a month and you go live with them for 2 hours twice a week. They're like, I'm like, dude, just give it a minute. Come check back in 3 to 4 years here. Cause the 3 to 4 years are coming regardless. I had a buddy of mine, Brandon knows him. He was watching me build years ago when I got started. He's like, cause we were in network marketing. That's how I met this guy, is through network marketing way back. And I knew the network marketing model wasn't the model for me, but it was like people around me we were just in it. It was actually a lot of fun, you know, and my girlfriend was just a beast at it. Like she was so good at it. And I was like, and we did, you know, it was fun. I learned a lot. And we met in that. And I was like, I'm, you know, cause I was always wanting and doing this. And then I like blended out of it. And it was just like these little rocky moments. And I said, dude, I'm just going to do this. And I went all in. And it was like, he was always like, damn, dude, you're actually making some good money. And I'm like, yeah. I said, we talked about this a year ago. And he's like, yeah. He's like, a year went by. He's like, it was like no time at all. And then like, I said, dude, you should just get started doing it. And he's like, yeah. And he kind of and he started jumping from one little MLM to the next. And I was like, dude, I'm not against what you're doing with the MLM and stuff. I was like, but you're treating it too soft. And he's like, yeah, he's like, man, I can't believe another years went by. And I'm like, and then he finally did start. He's doing like 30 to 50 grand a month now. And he actually does Brad Lee's TikToks and all that stuff. He's a short form video editor. And then Brad Lee got him into a bunch of he's got some great clients. But it was like every year it was like, yeah, man, another year. And it doesn't, man, a year's like nothing. And you think about how, if you plug in and do like the activities here, the simple, basic, rudimentary activities, because it's mastering the mundane with this stuff. I can't tell you how mastering the mundane this stuff is. Consistency is the secret weapon in this whole deal. And just being very true and authentic with helping people and actually wanting to flip and help people will take you to the moon. But it's just getting in and doing those things in a year. If you just follow a consistent pattern of content and posting and helping and growing, dude, you won't recognize yourself in a year. You'll be like, holy shit, I had no idea. I mean, I went from scraping to like over 100 grand in a month. I'm like, I could fathom it, but I couldn't fathom it. It was like, that's a lot. You know, that always was like, I mean, I'm from Kansas, bro. If you made 100 grand a year, you were like, oh, there's that guy. See, he's got a new pickup, you know, that you were like the guy. And then it was like, I can't believe I made that in like a half a month or in a webinar. You know, it's like, it blows your brains out. And, you know, I mean, when you, and I always thought it would feel different. I always thought it was going to be like magic stunts and tricks and all this stuff. And man, if I had to like put something on my tombstone, it would just be like, solve a problem people want fixed, and then show up every single day consistently educating them about how you fix the problem. And it's like, you're going to be fine. So what, does is there anything I want to I don't want to just flap my gums here. Although
I got a question for you.
Today's been great. Yeah.
So my niche is very, very niche. So it's hard to have them find you on social. Mm-hmm. So I have to run a lot of ads. Mm-hmm. Have you ever, when you run ads, do you ever run just straight to the landing page and not do the opt-in page and see how that, get more people seeing it and then retarget? Have you had much success, or do you always just go to that little splash page first?
I will tell you one thing. And yes, I've absolutely done that a lot. And I didn't do any content. I was just figure out the ad, dollar in. As soon as I could get $1 in, $2 out, it was you just keep playing that game. But you'll always hit this law of diminishing returns kicking in, where you can't spend more than you're making. And then you're and then you need to add brand to it. But I will tell you, if I had the blood in this game is emails. So I don't trust any social media platform, although I know that they're probably not going anywhere. I don't trust just having an audience built in a retargeting list. I want the email. And so I want something that if anything crashed, or if I wanted to switch gears completely and start selling, boomerangs, I have a list of people that I can start selling to immediately. So I would rather slow down to go fast and get the email and massage emails. Email is where in my world, at least from my perspective, and from most of the people that are successful around me, and the masterminds I go to, it's the email is the holy grail. And it's I need to have that email list. And so to me, if I have a chance to get that email, I will.
That makes sense. Because then if that platform fails, now you have that email you can retarget on another platform, or just keep hitting them with emails or whatever.
And if you really give a shit, which I assume you do, I'm not assuming you don't, but if you really care about them, and I perform on this poorly at the moment. I know I can be doing better. I'm just very distracted with what I'm trying to create in the background that nobody sees yet. Being very big brother, family member to your email list, and really caring about them, it is the most powerful thing ever. I just can't even tell you how powerful email really is when you learn. And here's where people get all messed up. I had a guy get on here one time, and he was like, dude, I bought 50,000 emails yesterday. And he's like, this shit, it don't do nothing. And I'm like, it's about how you get the email. And so it's so important that, and like you said, we can rush into this, these numbers, when you're on social and you're seeing all this it seems like fast money and big money. You ain't shit unless you're doing, $1 million a month and all that crap. Let me tell you, man, I don't know, anybody's situation outside of what we've talked about here, but if you get a consistent residual digital $50K a month coming in after everything's been taken out of it and paid for, life is okay. Everything past that is just unless you're just belligerent with your spending, you most people will never make that. Most people, the life you can experience at just a consistent, clean cut, full profit, 50K recurring a month. Mm-hmm. If you can't live the rest, I would be fine with that the rest of my life, because I can take the overload of that and put it into these little things that trickle back and just turn 1 to 2. And it's
even 30K.
Oh God, yeah. 30K is the break point. I feel like at 30, that's when
30K is 30K is a sweet spot.
Yeah, it's
30K is
when you get to a G a day, it's all of a sudden God damn, it's a nice day out. You're shit, I never noticed how green this tree. Honey, have you seen how green this tree is?
The biggest thing is when you start to be when you start to look at things to buy, and like that's a day worth of like,
Oh, I know.
But
then you got to be careful.
Yeah.
Because your inner kid, your little kid will come out of you. You're like, man, I want to go buy a trailer and some 4-wheelers. Like, you're like,
see, like for me, I've used all of this to just grow like a real bit, like a mortgage business, right?
Yeah.
But you have to grind. There's no recurring. It's just always getting new deals. And that's when I was like, I need to just take all this knowledge and help other people. And now I'll have recurring. So that's what I've been working on for the last year and a half. I just approached it the wrong way because I'm a video guy. So I'm like, I'm going to teach people video. People don't want video. I looked at it the wrong way because I was just it made me so revved up. I'm like, other people are going to get revved up. And they're like, no, they're revved up about making the money.
They want when the video gets them.
That's where I made the mistake, is I'm like, I'm so intimately in tune with this demographic and what they're going through. I made stuff for me, but I'm the odd man out. I'm the weird guy. So I got to make it for them. And that's where I was assuming way too much, because I'm like, I know what they're going through, but no, I know what I'm going through. And so that's why I'm restructuring everything, because I made my stuff for me, and I made it for the wrong person. It's all great, but the way it's structured isn't how their brains think.
Ryan, did you ever hear the story about the case study on Slack and how that happened? So like apparently Slack was a video editing, right, Mike? Have you heard about this?
I'm listening. I haven't heard this one.
Slack was a video editing SaaS product or something like that. They did video, and there was one feature in their video editing platform where you can communicate, to people, and people loved that feature so much that they weren't using the video feature, editing feature. They're just using it just to communicate to their team members. So they restructured everything and then relaunched it as a, look into it, but it's a funny story where, Slack's a perfect example how like people went in and what they did so well. And what I think I'm hearing you do is like, they saw the feedback, they saw people were using one of their features that they thought was like stupid, not even like non-relevant, right? But because they didn't take that personally, and they didn't bruise their ego, they said, you know what, let's just get rid of it and rebrand and be a communication company. You know what I mean? So communication platform. So
one thing I can tell you about that I've learned from going from high ticket to residual like this is it changes the way you approach people too in the community and in what you're creating. And it feels wholesome to me, because it's like, they're only paying you, either $3 or $1.50 per day, but it makes you think so much different, because you're like, especially if you're used to doing more, like having, making 10K a day and stuff like that. It's an adjuster in the beginning, because you're like, oh shit, like you're just used to this flow, and then all of a sudden it's like, you make like, you get like 5 or 6 sales, and it's like $500 to $1,000 or something a day, and then you'll have, you have your bigger days and your smaller days, but then you're like, and then the residual starts kicking, and you're like, huh. And then if you like provide real well, it's like the more you like the daily gravities and stuff like that, it's like you feel like propelled to do that. And if you just try to like be very good in the delivery and creating something that actually helps them, it starts building this, like, it's such I wish I'd have done this a long time, because I know like the right thing to do if you're wanting to get to money fast is high ticket, right? But there's a lot of faults in the high ticket model too that people don't talk about, because everybody's so money focused that they forget that what actually matters is solving the problem and making something great, and keep making it and iterating it and making it great, and actually being rewarded for that as you're doing it. It changes the way you go about things in my personal experience. And I love it more and more every single day. And it just feels so good to know that I know that there's these different people in the community that I can strap up. I could launch something that's more, invasive or like more, on a different level, talking about different dynamics of this type of business and charge, quite a bit more and get those types of things out of it. But it's like, it's almost like you're just nurturing a farm and like growing a beautiful orchard. I can't tell you how much more fulfilling it is for me. Like,
but I will say, I noticed the pattern that, especially, and for both of you, right, or Ryan and you, like, it's just like Alex Mosey was saying, with Elon and Tesla. So he started with a luxury car and then worked down to the mass market car, right? And for both of you, right, like you started with a high ticket, now you're working your way down. So I think, because at the end of the day, once you've made the money, you want to seek purpose, right? You want to seek fulfillment and all that stuff. You want to have a wider impact. So I get it. But Mike, real quick question for subscription, getting away from high ticket now. We're in Build Lab. So free trial. What are your thoughts on free trial? Have you experimented with that?
Yeah, I used to do like the 14-day. I tried a 7-day. I did like a 3-day. I've tried all types of things, everything I've seen. It's like every shot you could take in the NBA, like you give it a shot, and see. And I just look at it like, listen, if you're not ready to drop $97, then it's probably,
Yeah.
People don't value free. They just,
I'm not that if I had a software, maybe I would entertain that. But on something like this, I'm just like,
and it has to be for at least $1 because it needs to be an auto built into the, you can't, if you do free, you're never going to convert. But if you did $1 or $7 for 7 days and then automatically build them, but just know when you do things that way, you're going to get a lot of refunds because people are like, I'm going to get in, check it out, I'm going to get out. And if they don't get out in time, they're going to hit you up and say, hey, I need a refund. Because I've done stuff like that. And it's definitely, if you are struggling dialing in your messaging and it's not quite there, but you need people in there, I think it's a great way to, like, you're going to get bodies in there, you're going to get feedback. But at the end of the day, like Mike said, I'd rather, like, either want to do this or you don't, and it's practically free. So if you,
I can't even
afford
eat dinner
$100
for $97.
no, I got 3 kids. So we go out, it's like $200 and it's
every
like,
time,
and if you can't spend $97, there's 2 problems. Our messaging and our solution and our problems aren't dialed in, or 2, we're getting in front of the wrong people.
Yeah.
That's my thoughts on it.
Oh, it's a bar tab. It's a bar tab. It's a, I see people all the time. Like, I saw one, I'm sure Mike, you've seen it, but it was like one of those memes, and it was like Saturday night 97, Netflix subscription and coffee. Like, he gave all these things, and it's like program to improve your life or to start a new business, too expensive, right?
Yeah.
So I get it.
Yeah, it's just go look what the average American spends per day at different age groups, and you'll be blown away. I mean, it's practically free. But here's the thing that I have found with it, that the 97 price point's really interesting. 67 is awesome price point, but there's no real difference in conversion bumping it up to 97. I mean, anything under like $5,800, in my opinion, is, especially once full completion has happened and like the actual evolution of Build Lab has gotten to where it is, like, dude, it's worth it, because like what you're going to learn, one thing that you pull out of this can make you money for the rest of your life. And it's like, so there's real it's not about like, well, how much should I charge? Just charge whatever, but I just find like you get above, I had a membership for $397 a month. And it was a little bit harder because you're getting close to like a car payment now. And it's like they start to just view it differently, Now to the right people, it's no big deal, right? But I'll tell you, like, when I think about TAM, total addressable market, and I think about like what my actual goal is, and my goal is just to help as many people as humanly possible to figure out this game, because there's so many people out there that have that entrepreneurial bug, They have no idea what to sell. They have no idea like how to go about it, but they could go about it if they were shown the right thing. And to me, I'm just trying to help my high school graduation self right now. And I know that those people graduate and they grow up, and in 10 years from now, they're going to be 28 years old, and or they're going to be 38 years old or whatever. And I will have my place in there. I'm going to have a higher ticket. I'm get the way to really build this thing is to create like a product suite at different levels. But I've also found that the people that don't invest anything, it's hard. I have people that have paid 10 grand, and they freaking don't even get into they don't do nothing. I've had people pay $9,800 and never open the course, never want to talk, nothing. And I'm like, man. So all I can tell you is this business model works. Going live is very powerful on TikTok. I've never seen anything like it. Like the amount of leads I get going live on TikTok is like, it would cost you several $100s on ads, or if not, like sometimes it'd be like $400 or $500 worth of ads.
Mike, let me ask you this: in a month, because now you've been doing this for a little while now. I mean, you've been doing it, but in terms of this, this new structure. So in a month, let's say, what would you like doing it? You know, the funnel is squeaky clean, the messaging, like you're going live, everything that you say to do, you're doing. What would you say would be like a conservative guesstimate of how many memberships or opt into the memberships would someone expect, like in 30 days, let's say?
Well,
is that too specific to ask?
No, not at all. I mean, so I basically opened this up like in the middle of February, basically. I was kind of trickling around, but like you can see what's happened in February, and I have not been as consistent as I'd like to be. So there's just that raw data right there of you can see the members in there. The thing I can tell you is just focus on leads each day. Like I've got a number, like I just want to get like, I mean, I've got 10,000 monthly recurring revenue based off of my 27% landing page conversion rate. And last month, I had a 4.7% conversion rate from leads to sales. So for every lead that I got based on sales, they closed at 4.7%, which is really high. Like,
yeah, it's 1 to 5.
Yeah, that's really, I'm like really happy with that. But I set the leads to sales at 3% at a $97 a month price point with a 5% churn, which I don't even have a 1% churn, but it'll appear. I just assume 5 is the top end average. So I just put it there. And if you wanted to get to $100,000 a month of monthly recurring revenue in 1 year, you'd have to generate 130 leads per day, which if you were running ads is going to cost you about $1,300 a day. But at the end of the year, you would essentially have 100 grand a month recurring revenue, which bring it. You know what I mean? So, I mean, because if $1,000 a day is 365,000, right?
But like on average, in terms of like, let's say a 30 days, are you getting, let's say 10 people per month? Just for anyone, not you specifically, but generally, what would be the average? Like, I would say 5 people per month, 10 people per month.
Depending on your ability to deliver your message is really going to determine this. Okay?
Yeah, of course.
If you're like, ooh, you know, but assuming that you're here, you're present, and you
followed all the build lab.
Yeah,
you're listening to Mike. You build the outline.
You're being yourself. I don't know why. I don't know why you can't expect, and I mean this from my heart, why you can't expect to get 1 new person a day. So I would just base it like 30 a month.
Yeah, like 15 to 30 a month, depending on.
I would say 15 to be safe, but you can do a lot more, like a lot more.
Of course.
I promise you, like I'll probably do. Once I get going, I could put my foot in my mouth, but I'm assuming I'll probably just without ads, everything. Once the course is built and I'm just solid marketing, I mean, I'll probably do over 100 a month. Yeah, easily. Like I watch Michelle. She does almost close to 200 a month, and she's selling.
What do you think about what do you think about and I know your strategy is all organic, but have you ever tried boosting on TikTok? Like I know one of your videos you had like 30,000 or whatever. Like, you ever think about like boosting those things?
Oh, all the time I do. I think, I think if I did any kind of ad though right now, it would be a Google retargeting ad based off my funnel. Anybody that hit the funnel at all that didn't
Can you please explain that process on how you do the retargeting on Google based on the system funnel?
Yeah. So all you do is you go into Google Ads, and then you're going to go into where it's a retargeting ad, and you put the Google tag on the whole funnel. You can get really crazy with the tags. Like if they hit this page and not this page and this page, and just all you need to do is just retarget them. Whether they're a customer or not, there's nothing wrong with being in their face. So I used to get all into that. Well, I don't want to show up if they bought. Like, I don't care. Like, if I can be in your brain every day, like, fine, for the cost. So I will probably, once everything's set, because I'm gonna do you're gonna watch three things actually happen as soon as I feel good about Build Lab in a way where the course is complete. We've got people getting, results through the whole thing, and everything's going good. Which should be, good God, like May should be, I'm hoping in June, I'm full steam, just marketing every day and iterating at that point. And I'm almost extremely certain on that. But if I put a retargeting ad on the funnel, I'm just tagging the whole funnel. And then all I'm doing is going in, it's Google display retargeting, so that I show up on every AdSense, banner on any website. And I'm just using my face or anything that's like really prominent that you would remember me by. It could be like the whiteboard. When I did retargeting ads before, it was always kind of like I just had my head, because I was very prominent with like the VSLs. I would show up and I kind of always try to keep somewhat of the same look going, black hat, black shirt, it's kind of what I look like. And so I just keep doing that. And I have a basic, just simple headline. I'm not trying to go deep. It's just like, hey, you should sign up for Build Lab. I noticed you checked it out. You should go sign up. And it clicks them. Yep. And it just simple, bold headline that they can see out of the corner of their eye and down in the corner, just a simple, with the color scheme and my face or whatever remembrance of me. Nike uses the shoe that you were looking at. So it's like
the landing page, right?
And yeah, I just sent them to the landing page, because once they get there, if they've already opted in, they'll know what to do from there. And so one thing you're going to see is I'll be running like just a light retargeting ad, probably just like $50 a day, like a tiny one, just a little $50 a day one in the background. But it gets you all over the place. Like that's a good little retargeting ad. I just said $50 a day, and I just really don't look at it. I don't even care. It works. Those things work great. And then the other thing that you'll see is I'll open up affiliate. And this is the trick to these types of things, I believe. Okay. And I'll give you all the data and, testing it, but I'm going to give an affiliate where they get half of the profit each month. So, it's like they make money from referring people to me every month. So they get a recurring revenue just by referring people to me, and they didn't have to build my program. And it's like, that will be.
Listen, that was even Andrew Tate. That's what happened. People say it was like a pyramid, but it wasn't a pyramid, because it wasn't a pyramid. It was just an affiliate, program.
That's all it is. If people, because that's why I'm trying to build Lab like as hardcore as I can and make it so good, because if people can make money off of it, just like I make money off of ClickFunnels, I still pay $297 a month to get my money from ClickFunnels, because I have so many referees from ClickFunnels. And I
think Sam's going to do that. I think Sam's going to put in that feature.
Oh yeah.
What technology are you planning to use for affiliate links?
System
has it?
Yep. You can just go in there and set the percentage you want them to get, and you can do it either as a one-time or a recurring. And then I believe it just pays out through PayPal, just like ClickFunnels.
Good.
But I know Sam's going to add that in, and I'll probably just run it through that. The more I can use one system at all costs, like if Sam dials in Skool to a place where it's got like a decent landing page scenario, because that's really all you need. And then, you know, people worry about, oh, my website, you know, dude, I don't know. I just let my marketing be my website. Like my socials are my website kind of deal. And I just need a landing page essentially. Because you can look at the math. It does not. I was making a absolute shit ton. And I didn't even know I had a website. It was just all through the funnel and email. So I'm
the app's coming out on the 15th.
Yeah, no, I'm loving what they're doing, man. And I just trust him. You know, he's clean. So like, what's up?
Another question. Besides the whole funnel and everything, we could add a section for SEO, like a blog for articles and keywords and everything.
I mean, yeah, it's not going to hurt you. I just treat like YouTube as my SEO kind of thing. And listen, I'm not against SEO is deep and powerful if you get it threaded, you know, but I think social is my blog, you know.
Okay.
I'll tell you what, if I had to focus on just one thing and one thing only that I had to like really build out to assure things, it'd be getting emails.
Okay.
Treat your email as like, that should be your community above and beyond Skool.
Okay.
Like Skool's a community, yes, but your email, it's powerful, man. People underestimate email so much. I don't know why either. Just because they think like, oh, I don't check my email. Yeah, you do. Actually.
No, listen, Mike. I've been doing it for a little while too, but like I would join your program just for this email part you have on there. I mean, Mike's. I mean, I've been through them all, and it's just like at the end of the day, it's like, you know, it's very hard. I realize that it's very hard to teach email simply without overwhelming people. And your program, I honestly like. Of course, it's amazing and all, but like the visual aspects, like for me, the biggest thing is telling people that, listen, your gift in your mind makes sense, but to everybody else, you need to put it into a structure. So like in our building, just to give a quick story, we had this woman, she does for 30 years, flower arrangements for yachts. So our building offered like a workshop downstairs in the common room, and wonderful older lady, very sweet. And she was so talented, but like she didn't know how to present. So everybody was there with different flower stuff. And everybody was like, what do I do? And she's like, yeah, just do it. And it was so frustrating because you can see she knows how to do it, obviously, but like she didn't know how to communicate that. So like your ability to teach people of, you know, how to not just have a roadmap, but then in the roadmap, what is actions, what is module, that's phenomenal. And then the email aspect of it, I've never taken a program that I've successfully made. I can say now that I have made my active campaign 10 follow-up emails because of this. So that's big just alone. Yeah,
no, and I appreciate you saying that, and I'm glad that it's coming across that way and doing that. But it really is like, anytime you can do the visuals and just take it apart in your brain, like, and this is the hard part, right? It's like, what do I actually do first and then second? And so it's so good to draw out that timeline of like, okay, I do this. And sometimes I'm not even joking, I would wake up in the morning and I just turn screen flow on and let it flow all day long. And I painstakingly did this one time. I watched it all back the next day. I'm like, it was so, but I would chop out these things and I'm like, oh, I was watching these patterns. And I'm like, I was literally felt like I was watching grass grow, but it was interesting and scary how scattered I would get. Cause I'd be like, and I'd lose I'd like, holy shit, brother, you need help. And so but once I got through that and I'm like, okay, wow. And then I started to like be able to articulate out what I was doing. And then I'm like, how can I show them what I'm seeing in my brain, whether it's close enough or not, because it's better than nothing. So I always focus in on that. But then the email thing, what I learned about it, and I got on all these like really good email guys like George 10. There's this other guy, Bailey or Ben Bailey or something like that. These guys are like literal like gods when it comes to writing emails, like follow-up emails, and there's usually never pictures in it. It's just like couple sentences, new line, couple sentences, new line, couple sentences, new line. And I just started getting on all these email lists, and I would just consume them, and I'd be like, God dang, these guys are good. And what I realized after so much time of it, then I had to delete from all of them because it was just so distracting, and I kept a swipe file. I got swipe files and I never use them. But I've got all these swipe files of everything that I want to use. But what I've learned is through just repetition of it, you're just having a conversation with them and literally building off of the last conversation you had with them. And so in your emails, the more you can make it feel like
an open loop.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that for one, but think about it like, yesterday, guys, we were talking about this and you were going to do this and you didn't though. And I'm like, I get that, but help me understand more. Like, why would you not do that? And you have this conversation as if they were, I think about it as like, if I had like a relative or somebody that, love and care about, like a friend or a family member sitting beside me, asking for help. And I was like trying to help them and talk to them and like consult with them and like communicate with them. Like, how would I really talk to them? And that's how I try to formulate my emails. My emails right now, in my opinion, are like, to me, they work. They're working. But to me, I want to go back in and make them way better. But I have to allocate time to the most important things right now, which are, I've put something together that still works very well. Like I've got, it's the 15 emails that I gave you yesterday in module 12 of Build Lab, because I finished out the last part, which is the email part. That video, that has all 15 of my emails in it that I'm currently using in my flow. And it works pretty good. Like my emails are doing really good. And the thing that I want to get across is like, you have to, when you go look at your email stats and you see that, 1,700 people opened your email and 133 of them clicked, dude, that's 133 people. If you treat each one of them individually, like you're trying to literally pull them up the side of the mountain with you to save their life, and you communicate with them like that, dude, that's the secret sauce. Giving a shit. Like,
quick question, Mike. On the funnel that you had, the template you provided, listen, I had this question. What's the difference between homepage and home squeeze page? And there's like 2 pages that are the same.
Yeah, what I did is I had 2 different ones and I just didn't delete the one out.
Okay. Oh, this whole time I thought I was like double. It's all right. And listen, is there a way where what you do on the desktop, because there's a few times I spent like an hour doing it on desktop, and then I go on my phone, it's like it didn't make the changes on some of the changes they didn't make on the phone. Is there a way to and I click the bottom part that says
the little mobile
and desktop. Yeah.
Here's what you have to do. It's a little weird quirk, but when you're in system and it's got your editing tools over here that you can drag over to the screen, there's a little baby gray tab thing there. And you have to click that thing and it'll slide over and show you more of a full view of what it's odd. Have you ever done that? Have you ever hid the tools to the side?
No, I have access to the tools, but like I've noticed that if I'm on the desktop view editing, some of even if it's clicked on the bottom where it says mobile and desktop, some of the changes I'll have to go into click the phone part and then make the edit. Like, for example, my button was, blue on desktop. And even though it was set in the settings on the side to both, when I looked on the phone, it wasn't blue. So sometimes
I think it has like a little just tweak out.
Okay.
Yeah. It's just, I think it's just a little bit of coding, glitchy stuff. But
that's all right. I just want to, I didn't know
when I create mine now, because I know people have different phones. I just, you assume everybody has the iPhone 14 Max screen, I know a lot of people don't, but I'm always like, I'll edit it and click like the thing, and then I'll refresh my phone. I'll be like, no, I need to move it over just a little bit. And like, that's just how I go about that part of it. It's kind of a pain in the ass, but
good.
What I've learned, especially watching Michelle, is like, the more you connect in social with them, the more your videos and content, the better you do there, the less you have to worry about all the other stuff. It's really interesting. Like, you can just have a plain old white page with a black headline and a button. And like,
I don't know, man. It's been, for me, the lives it hasn't been hard to do it. Like I don't give a shit. Like I went live, but the thing is I don't know, man. It's like, it goes from like 200 people and then it's like 1, and then it just stays at 1. And I've stayed there.
Here's what you do. Is the moment it does that, get off and get back on.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's the trick.
Huh.
Because it'll do that. It'll start out. It'll be like, you're like, oh shit, 200-300 here. We're in it now. And then it's like, and it'll come down to like 30, and then it kind of takes the steam out of your sales. And then it'll drop again. You're like, God damn, just shut it off. Wait for like 2 minutes, turn it back on, and go live again. And just bam.
And I found like around nighttime, at least when it comes to personal development topics, I don't know, but I felt like, I tried at 8, I tried at 12, and it's like during the day, it's like, it's a ghost town, but later towards night, more people are, at least for what I'm talking about.
Well, probably because they went through shit that day. During the day, I'm serious. Like when you're doing this stuff, it's always funny. Sunday evening or Sunday night, if you send out the right emails, man, because people are like, fucking work on Monday, like, God.
Yeah.
And so it's like, if you can communicate to that, there's no doubt. Just like fishing, like, you don't go try to catch bass in the peak heat of the day. Like, they just ain't doing shit besides laying in the shade and chilling until about evening when they're ready to eat. And it's like same with us. Don't come bother me at like 10 o'clock about food. I don't give a shit. I'm working. You know what I mean? I don't care like how good the food is. Yeah, just put it over there. I'll eat it, or if like I'm deep in it, like, I don't care if it's the best steak there is, just set it over there. I'll get to it. But when it's time to eat that thing, I will maul it. You know what I mean? So you have to think about those and find your time. I find for me, evenings seem to be a little better too. After lunch seems to be good with me. I feel like they get like they get pounded with some shit during the day, and they're just like, God. And that's when it's like, that message can resonate. But man, live, whew. Like when they were talking about, and I know they still kind of are, but they're talking about like banning TikTok in the US. Like, I kind of actually like felt that a little bit. I'm like, oh, no. Because it's like, it's good, man. Like, you can go on for a couple hours on TikTok and generate $500 worth of leads.
Yeah.
And it's like, and they're good.
Yeah.
Like, going live is kind of a pain, but it's good practice, man. It is great for your message. And I just kind of dig it. It's kind of weird. It's kind of like, what's up? It's like, man, you have this different friend group.
Yeah, no, listen, it's just for me. Listen, man, that's kind of the pain point that I'm having. Like, I know I'm sorry to anybody who I've irritated with bringing up the high ticket stuff a couple of times. I'm actually in between, right? Because on one hand, my whole initial thing, guys, right? My big goal, like Mike says, I want to create the first universal self-improvement system, right? I want to combine all the Tony Robbins stuff. I want to create a self-improvement system that anybody can have access to. You don't need to take an ice bath. You don't need to do Wim Hof. These are the basic. I see people doing all this advanced shit without doing the basics, right? So like, that's why I bought Mike's stuff. That's why like I want to do the subscription model. But it's like, I know sometimes like I have 110 people in my group right now, but like they get excited and then they just died out, right? They didn't pay. That was before, I I'm doing paid, but they have this like sprint of 1 to 2 weeks where everybody's excited, talking about sleep, talking about this, and then it just dies out. So it's like, shit, man. Like, if people are just giving novel dopamine and then they just drop off, maybe I should go to high ticket and just, at least they paid a shit ton of money and they'll actually invest time into it. So that's where my head's been, you know.
Why don't you do high ticket subscription?
What do you mean? Tell me more.
That's what Sam was pushing in WeTube at that time.
It's true.
Like you could do almost, it's basically like the Mastermind model.
Yeah.
And you charge high ticket recurring. It's just, here's the thing about high ticket that just, and listen, I'm a talking fool. Have you not figured this out? But you know, I just, and maybe I'm clueless. Maybe I'm just crazy, but so far it's been playing out the way I seen it playing out. But if I have to make littler money for a few years, now granted, now listen, if I was in a different situation financially,
yeah,
I would be rolling high ticket, probably. Yeah. I would probably. But because of my situation,
that makes sense.
And I would only roll it just long enough to get in the situation, because it doesn't take long with high ticket, man. Like if once you roll high ticket correctly in 90 days, you can get pretty fat in 90 days with some high ticket. It's just, I don't want to do the calls.
Yeah.
Number one, and I don't mind them, and I know I can hire out that because I've done that before too, and it worked great.
Yeah. But you don't have to anymore at this point. Like for you, it's about legacy for you. You know
I'm just really trying to build something like with good brick and mortar and marble and like concrete, like stable. And I'm like,
legacy.
I just want something super solid as hell where I can just help people transform. Because I love when people have that, man. They're like, they see how they can work for themselves and do good and actually just do what they love to do and get paid for it. And if you can just start getting paid for it a little bit, get the goddamn money thing out of your head, like big money, it comes. If you just can slow down and care. The best thing over ads and retargeting and content and marketing and everything is caring, but in your product, it actually delivers the basket to the door. Like it actually works. Cause then it's like, it's just like a good movie. You go tell everybody about it.
Yeah.
Are there any complications to offering both? Because
none.
That's what I'm looking to do now.
None at all. One just will support the other, vice versa, either way.
Yeah.
Either way, one will support the other one.
That's what Kirby's doing, right? Kirby does, like, he has on the back end where he's offering value to people. Like there's a lot of people who are just doing free or low ticket, $97. And then that primes them that if, like Ryan was saying, that you overwhelm them with value and you give them so much value that they're like, listen, man, this is amazing. Like, can you just do it for me? You know what I mean? Or help me with it.
And it's hard for, even, believe this or not, like I've got several people talking to me right now that are talking about like giving me equity in their company, giving me like big money for this, and they're already operating. So it'd be like Bitcoin. An instant, it'd be like an instant turn on. No, like real like product companies, like, and I'll tell you, man, I'm not even excited about it. Like I have people offering me some decent money right now. And I'm like, all I want to focus on is making Build Lab and making Build Lab so good that people are like literally just telling everybody that they know that is interested in this product. They're like, dude, you will not believe for $97 a month what you actually get. And I want people to be like, it is literally like the most badass, like it's like getting a Ferrari for $97 a month. Like that's how I'm trying to envision this. And like, I want people just getting results. I want people to be like, how are you not charging more for this? That's like the most And I get that already sometimes. They're like, dude, you know, you could try, because there's the high ticket guys are out there like, like I'm charging like almost 10 grand for the same type of stuff. You realize that? I'm like, yeah, I did too. I was like, I wanted to just flip that and just turn that into that and see what would happen. Because it was really more of an experiment. I'm like, can I actually make this work at a low ticket like this? Because I was always scared of low ticket because I felt like I was underpricing myself or undervaluing myself, or that I would look cheap or like, like that. But then I'm like, there's got to be another way around this. And I'm like, why not just be kind of like Amazon Prime? It's inexpensive, but damn it, you love that shit. And I'm like, look at Netflix. Netflix is bad to the bone. There's nobody in here that can argue that. I don't care what you say. What you get with Netflix for $20 a month is outrageous compared to what it used to be going to Blockbuster or Redbox or all this shit. And it's like tuned to you. Like come on, and it's very inexpensive, and look what they're doing. And then I'm looking at it and I'm like, I'm going to speak the truth on this stuff. I'm going to give everything I have into this. And then I'll always have the option to open up into more.
Hey, shifting gears a little bit. Have you seen Ted's layout in the classroom? Yeah, Ted Carr, how his he has all the step 1, step 2. I think it's a whole course, but instead
he just breaks it into blocks like that.
Yeah, what do you think about that?
I think that's okay. I had that for a while in it was called Synergy at that time, but I did every pillar had its own block in there.
Yeah.
And it was cool. I liked it because it feels kind of like Netflix when you get in there, but I don't know. I don't know if I feel either way. I think it's fine either way. What I think you can do in there, here's the thing I hope I don't get into, that I know is a very easy thing to get into, which is you think you need to keep adding stuff to build like I need to put another course in there and another course in there. And I'm like, no, I'm building a 911 turbo. I'm going to keep building the same car over and over and over and just make a slight tweak in the seats or the shocks or the headlight or the dynamics. And I'm just going to keep building it over. And listen, I could fail. Okay. I'm full willing to fail. And I know that if I just keep making small little 0.5% tweaks on that thing and just get my message to where it's like a beautiful song that actually means something. I'm not here to convince anybody to buy this. I'm not here to influence anybody's behaviors. I'm here to share with you, if you're here and you want to get here and you want to have it in this way, here is my system and here's how we get this done. And I just want to just keep rebuilding it because it's very hard actually to do that. Yeah. And I feel like if more people did that, they would be really, because it's really easy to what's the next thing now that I'm going to do to make money?
Yeah. Shiny object. Yeah.
Shiny object is not just buying another app or bouncing to a thing. Shiny object is just getting distracted within your own thing. Shiny object isn't buying stuff, or it's like, it's hearing some person on social media. And then all of a sudden you're like trying to, it's so easy to fall into that because there's such good stuff. I found that you just have to listen to yourself. And the only way to do that is really just get off of social media, but it's so addictive to get on there and hear the newest thing that's going on. And I'm not talking about being silly either on social media. Yeah. You want to, because it's like, I don't watch TV at all. I don't have the news to keep up to date. I have to go to Twitter or something because that's just where I want to get the news, and good, bad, or indifferent. I don't know, you can never know really what the hell somebody's telling you, it's like, and it can sound great, but when it comes to building something like this, where you're teaching somebody how to solve a problem or do something, you really need to just trust yourself and trust that you did learn it. You have done it. You have results, and you're going to show somebody what you did.
Yeah.
And then you're going to not be the best at the first time, but the second time you'll be better.
Mhm.
But that's where then the discipline comes in. Like, can you stick it out? And that's why, like, the product I
value-
have, I wanted the whole addressable market, because I learned in the martial arts thing how fast your TAM can go.
Yeah, it's that valley of despair most people can't get through. That's they can't get through the time it takes for the compound, you know, and in reality there's like a lag, you know, there's a lag between your efforts, and most people are like, well, not working, and then they switch, but that people don't realize that resets your
Look
thing,
at
so.
nature, dude. I mean, the tree for 1 minute never thinks about being the goldfish.
Yeah.
Every second of its existence, it's like, I'm a tree, I'm a tree, I'm a tree. And it just keeps treeing. And that's why we can trust it and depend on it. Just like with gravity, like that baby is there.
Yeah.
I mean, it built every muscle in your body. And it's like the crazy thing to me, and I'm speaking to myself a lot of times in this, is that constant, like, trying to just focus on what moves the needle, and just know that when you do something, like you just said, that lag, it's so wild how fast you can it's like you zero the scale out and you got to start over again, because you were building these roots in this like thing that you were going at. And it's like the moment you switch, it's like, and you have to like, you have to trust yourself to just speak on it. And being like truly transparent is saying, like, guys, I don't know. I'm trying this with you.
Yeah.
Or we're learning. I'm learning. I'm practicing doctor.
But going back to one of our previous, I think it was like a couple calls ago, got like one thing I will say to everyone on the call and anyone who's watching in the future, you have like the caveat to having all the success and all the community in the world is like, you have to live this, and you have to act like you can't, like, if you're trying to do it, like we all have our situations, right? If you're trying to just pay the bills and all that, like, no, there's no judgment here. But if you want success, like you have to wake up, like eat, sleep, live. For Mike, it's Build Lab. For me, it's Optimal Human. For everybody else, it's whatever it is. But like, you have to live it. You can't half-ass it, or else it's and then what happens is people blame, oh, it doesn't work. No, it's not that it doesn't work. It's that your goal is the money. Your goal is not actually living this. You know what I mean? So,
and understanding the cause and effect patterns, like what causes money to show up is that you solve problems. In order to solve problems, you have to solve problems.
Yeah. Big thing is there's a term called emergence, and I love this word, emergence, and I tell everybody, I'm like, guys, the thing is not the thing, right? It's like, if you want money, you actually don't get money. You help people, and as a result, they give you paper, right? So it's like, if you, whether it's love, whether it's focus, whether it's like, you can't focus, you have to create an environment within yourself and your environment, and you know, internally and externally, and then focus happens as a result. So it's like,
it is that inversion principle in a certain way all the time, where it's like, you don't focus, you just remove all distractions. Same difference with like making money. You don't make money, you don't do anything besides solve problems, and the money just shows up. It's like weird. It's just so weird.
But the majority of people, they try to. You ever see the movie Forgetting Sarah Marshall, when he's teaching them how to surf, and he's like, do nothing, and it's like, okay, you got to do something. You know what I mean? It's like, it's you can't money, like you can't do money. It's like, you have to. You know,
money
what I mean?
is an effect.
Yeah.
And the cause is the problem that you solved. Like, you caused the effect, and that's a wild thing to like get. It's so simple. It's like E equals MC squared. It's such a complex conversation until you, and you know, it's like our equation until you learn it. You're like, oh my God, you're like, damn it. And it's still like, it's one of those things. But I'll say this.
Even when you know it, it's still like,
Yeah, it's so elusive, but the, doing this thing, and like he says, living, I love how you said that, it's so important to try to figure out, like, how am I going to be useful while I'm here?
Mm-hmm.
And you have to tap into your energy places, because my energy always comes up. Like, if I could be like, and I could be kind of out of it, like kind of just like almost like, and
Mm-hmm.
somebody could walk in, and Brandon can vouch for this, the guy that's on, because he's been in my office here, and he's, watched my days and seen how I am.
Mm.
But I can be like, just almost like pooped out, whatever. And somebody can come to me and be like, so if I want to like put a funnel and email together, what would you suggest? And I'm like, bam, like, it's like all of a sudden I'm like, you shouldn't have said that. And like my other family, like my kids or whatever, they're like, oh, Jesus fuck, why did he ask him that? Like, and like, here he goes, he's like, I'm like that old man that talks about the military times back in the day, where he just goes off and you can't stop him. And it's like, that's it. So what I'm trying to get at is, you have to find
what that is,
that thing for you, because there's an ass for every seat.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to make the seat that you want, people to get into, because it's like, when you find your place, like when you find that thing that really, you're not doing it because 98% of the world does this and makes money. Like, that's why everybody goes into real estate and shit like that, because everybody, the richest people in the world all do real estate. The reason they do real estate is because the ones that actually do it gangster, like, they actually love that shit, and they like had to do stuff to get into that. Like, if you got to find your wiggle, is what all of us have a little wiggle to us. It's like your thing, it's like little kids at PE, right? You can take the whole 5th grade class and line them up on the baseline at the gym. And you can say, all right, guys, we're going to just run from this side of the gym to that side. And in one run across the gym, who the athletes are in that group. And who the talented ones are in that group when it comes to physiology and activating their body and focusing on sports. And you can just pull out those kids and set them over here, and you put them all on a team, and they can beat the entire group. And that's what you have to find out. You need to baseline out, and you need to look at like the meat, like let me get my board out. What you need is this, like, you need to find out. It's like, you need to find ground zero here. And you need to go and check your meters, like which ones are like up. Like, if you talk, like my fishing meter might be to here. My freaking, space, going to space meters here. Like, my funnel and email and online business meter is the highest. Like, which one of these gets you going the highest? But you have to take inventory of this. You're not going to it's not going to just come out and be like, hey, good morning. Guess what? I mean, hopefully it does. Maybe it does. But you have to, like, if you don't find your wiggle, you're going to go through life doing shit you don't like to do, because everybody can help people. Everybody can I truly believe this now. I believe that everybody could replace their current income that they're getting paid by some job if they were to just find out a way that they were the best at helping people. 100%. And then they just did that. If you can clean a house real good and you're damn good, everybody's like, dude, her room is always spotless. She can clean a room. It may not be your favoriteest thing in the world to do. But it's a skill and a competency that you have that other people, like, I love this guy. His name is, I think, Dan Coe.
Yeah.
He's like,
yep.
yeah, he's cool. I really like him a lot.
Yeah, he's a cool guy. Well,
Yeah, he said something, which was, what the hell did he say? It was like along the lines of coming up with a niche or whatever. He's like, what is that thing where people come to you and they're like, yeah, have Fitzgerald do it, dude. He's so good at that. It just comes like, it's like, he's so good at that. Have that. Those should be little flashy lights in your life that are telling you what you can at least go replace your income with doing, and then have time freedom, meaning you can pick and choose when you do it. Just has to get done. So think about that. Oh, it's like my mom was a perfect example that she fell right into the right thing. She had all types of different little businesses. She had a physical fitness business type thing. She had this like reflexology type business. But when you walked into any one of her businesses, she knew how to decorate and put plants in that thing like a mofo. That's all she's been doing for the last 20 years or 15 years. And she found that she's so good at doing like flower arrangements and just decorating shit. And she just leaned into that. And it was just like, she doesn't work a day ever. And she's just solid at it. It's like, it's a security blanket of like cash that can come in, because she could go to any place and feng shui it out and get it done. You have to find that thing.
Your first language is someone's third language. You know what I mean? It's like people don't that, and the reason why it is, and I've noticed this a lot within myself through my journey and other people as well. It's like here's the thing. It's easy for you. So you think it's easy for everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you go to charge someone, you feel guilty. You're like, I can't.
Yes.
I can't. You have that imposter syndrome where you're like,
that's a real
I don't want
thing.
to charge. So then what you do is like, oh no, I need to find something I know nothing about to go sell. And it's like, no, just sell that. And it's like, no,
Yes.
that's too. And it's like, that's what you need to go with. But
That's
the thing
so
is,
good, man.
because people think that it's easy, but it's like, no, it's not easy. You know, my fiance, she's like, she's a project manager, and she's like, I mean, she can book us like anytime you want to go on a plane, travel somewhere, somehow she finds the best deal on tickets, best deal on hotels. And she's like, what? That's not a big, but everyone in my family, when they want to book something, they're like, hey, can I talk to Marina? You know what I mean?
And see, she could turn around and teach that to certain types of people, or figure out a facet of that she can like, and that's it, dude. I'm telling you, like me, doing that booking a vacation stuff and all that, like, shoot, I am not admin. That is a hired out thing that has to happen, because it's just not in my, I can do it if I have to, but I'm on the other brain. Yeah. Like same. So same. It's like,
she's operation painting,
by the way. Yeah. It is. And you have it and you think that people won't pay you for it. And you're like, well, I wouldn't make as much money with that. It's depending on where you're at in your journey, would you rather at least do something that comes just absolutely natural to you and actually you can really help people with, and it replaces your having to work for somebody else? Because once you get into the place where you learn the skill of being productive and producing and solving problems, and you start earning from that, what then happens is you, at least for most of the people I talk to in my own brain, you start seeing the world from a completely, almost a 180 angle, like from before. And you see all these opportunities appear. Like everything that I see, it's almost like every resistance that I experience, I'm like, how could I solve this resistance? And then how could I turn that into something that could scale? It's like, this is what happens to you. You're like, man, somebody could turn that into a business.
Yeah.
You're everywhere. You're like, and then you start noticing other businesses where they're like, you could walk right up to the owner and be like, dude, if you just made a tweak right there, this thing would rocket ship. But they're so close to the fire and they're so in it and they're so used to that normality of like, well, we just make this much a month and, it kind of does this and I'm almost ready to die because I'm old, that's, I've seen this with businesses over time too. And it's like, yeah, I know we could fix that, but it's, you know, they get comfortable with this like thing. It's hard to make something more efficient. And but that's kind of what happens as you go, but you have to find your little thing. You have to find your thing and go, like Andreas, you know, you want to, I know you're trying to combine efforts of like a high ticket in a subscription type thing. And just like that Slack example, there's probably something happening in your world already that is so normal that you can't even see it. And it's like, but it's something that's like really shining bright and blinking where you could just maybe all in on that particular piece of it. And you would probably get the same results with half the work or half the energy. And those are things that you have to constantly, like, I know Hermosi's like new video that popped out. I don't know if you guys have seen it, where how he like solves problems or sets goals or whatever. And it's just a scientific method, you know, it's inputs, process, output, take that output, the feedback, input, process, output. And that is the best. It is the model for solving problems. I mean, it's what science uses every single day. You know, I mean, what else do you have? You input, process, output.
Nature does it too. It just, I mean, the
natural
whatever just didn't survive. That's process of elimination. But I mean, for lack of a better explanation, you know, nature does the same thing. You know,
one thing I can tell you about the email automation follow-up process is if you do natural selection with your email follow-ups, just every 30 days, just go to your reports in your email in ActiveCampaign and just summarize it by top clicks, pull it over, and it'll show you the subject line, the top performing subject line out of all your emails. Because see, you know, people always argue with me. They're like, I don't want to email every day. What if my people, blah, 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 blah. It's not just about that. That you're what you're saying to me is you're basically like, I want the Michael Jordan results, but I don't want to have to practice as many shots as he does. That's what emailing every day is. That's what putting a video out every day is. Pretty soon, your natural selective self in evolution, you'll get to a place where you only have to do one email a week or one email a day, or or one video a week. And because you'll be so good that what needs to be done in that video gets done, and it has the impact of 10 videos a day. But you never get to that point unless you do it.
One of the things you brought up in a few calls back, which was really great, and I remembered it, which is escape velocity, right? And so like the way that I think of it is that, again, like you have to do all this hard bullshit, posting videos. I don't want to post videos. I don't want to do this goddamn emails. I don't want, but it's like, imagine you're a plane taking off, right? Now, when a plane gets to cruising altitude, it really is autopilot. I mean, the captain, he's taking a nap, right? But it's like that from the tarmac to 30,000 feet. That's the sucky stuff. You know what I mean? But once you get to that place of, you know, cruising altitude, then it's like one action is like multiplied by 100. You know what I mean? So it's like getting to that escape velocity. You know,
I love what it was one of the videos Alex Hermosi was talking about when he was talking about, or he visited Dean Graziosi, and he's like, I was there. And he goes, as I visited, he's like, he had literally like Dean Graziosi had like his fans were like banging on his door, and like there was cameras, like and he's like, and Hermosi's like, dude, this is your life every day. He's like, God, I don't want that. And like, he goes, man, if this is what I have to put up with to make the impact I want to make, then sign me up all day. And what I took from that, there's a lot of lessons and stuff you can pull out of that. But what I took from it is this. I'm like, when you decide that you're just going to practice like Kobe Bryant or Michael Jordan shots, or Tiger Woods said there were days he would hit 10,000 golf balls. Like, what? You think about that. But the guy is a billionaire with golf now. But nobody else was willing to hit that. I remember there was like some decent players, like I think it was Iverson and some other people, and they were talking about Kobe Bryant. They're like, dude was literally like obsessively insane. Like they said, and these guys were good that are talking about Kobe. They're like, yeah, he would shut the gym every night. He would sit there and he would shoot. He had spots on the court and he would shoot like 500 shots from every spot and then he would just keep doing that. I remember Jackie Stiles, a girl I went to school with that became like top WNBA chick. She'd be there crack of dawn in the morning at the school shooting thousands of shots. Her dad would just keep feeding the ball to her. And then at night, and then it's just all the time. And I'm telling you, people are like, I don't want to do videos all the time. I don't want to write an email every day. It's like, well, then you don't want it. Yeah. Because this is the practice it takes. But if you're doing something that you're doing that because you're doing it because you actually love and care your customer, like you want your customer, I think about you guys, if sounds weird, but I'm like thinking about like, I want them to, and this has nothing to do with me. Like, I don't need you to ever tell me this, but I just have this, it's like a mantra I tell myself that keeps me focused and like keeps me, what I want to do is I'm like, maybe Andreas, in 20 years from now is gonna be like, yeah, and I'm dead or something, and he's like, man, that like, I joined Build Lab for a little bit with Mike, and man, it's like that one, I'll just never forget that thing that shifted me, that allowed me to do this other thing. And I'm like, I want, because I was here, more people could experience their life better because they were able to unlock how to make their business work a little better, or they were able to unlock some more free time while still being able to achieve what it is that they wanted to do, or they were able to see through a restriction or a block or something, and they, just because of like maybe one call or something, they got through it better. And I think about that, like on my deathbed, I think like I'm there and my family's standing around and I'm like about to die. And I'm like thinking like, because I when everybody was out doing other stuff, or like when I, really could have went and goofed around or whatever, that instead I shot a TikTok, or I created a YouTube video that was 4 minutes long that like helped a bunch of people think different about what they're doing. And that, like, to me just revs me up, because I'm like, I don't know. It's like you're this little antenna, this little beam of light on the planet for a little blink of time. And like, think of the impact like Tony Robbins has made on people. He's just this little organic human being. I mean, he's a big guy, but in the reference to the universe and the world, like he's this little sack of meat and blood and little electrodes, and like, he's like, oh, and it's like, dude, that dude changed my life. Like Sam Ovens changed my life. Like a lot of guys have changed my life. Frank, all these people, like I will never forget their name. I will never forget what they did to me. And it's like, you can pass that torch on. It's like, what else are you doing? And if you can pass the torch doing something that you love doing, gosh dang, man, what a prize. And I see people like, I'm like, dude, you are completely able, but you're so worried about you that you don't do it. You're so worried what people are going to say. You're so worried what you're like, well, I don't know how to do it. I just need to do it. Dude, no, like, it's not about you. It's about them. And if you can keep that in front of you, it's not about you, it's about them. Something changes in you and you actually do the stuff. It's okay if you mess up. It's okay if you get on a video and somebody talks, they're like, dude, bleh. It's like, you will be criticized. You will be looked at. I'll never forget that. It's like this Oppenheimer dude or something like that. He was like, first you'll be ridiculed and opposed. Then pretty soon people will be like, this guy might be up to something. And then pretty soon you'll have people following you through the thing. But you cannot go from one to the other. You can't like this old farmer that I grew up around, he was my best friend's like grandpa. He was like, yeah, if you give a boy a full cup of water, all he's going to do is spill it. Or he's like, if you start out on the top rung, if you start out on the top rung of the ladder, all you can do is fall off or go down. And he's like, if you take care of the pennies, the dimes and the dollars will take care of themselves. And it's like these stupid little things. But the point that is being made is you can't jump from the bottom to the top step or you're going to hit your head halfway through. I always say, like, you can't force a tree to grow. You can't be like, grow, goddamn. And if you try to, and you like try to inject it with things to make it grow too fast, the first wind, it'll be like, and just snap in the middle because it grew so fast it couldn't structuralize. And this is just science, right? Like if you overgo with the muscle, it'll bust. But if you build it little by little every day, just
one thing I will say to add on to what you're saying,
long road.
One thing I will say, Mike, to add on to what you're saying, is that all of this stuff we're talking about of how to accomplish whatever we're all trying to accomplish, you have to anchor it in a why. You have to anchor it in emotion. Like you have to, like, to find your wiggle. Usually your wiggle, like Mike was saying, is in something that hurt you, or not hurt you, but like something that's personal to you, right? Your wiggle is usually something that you don't want someone else to go through, right? Like for me personally, that's my wiggle, right? So
that's
it's like,
so good,
even
bro.
when I'm not motivated, I just remind myself of what I went through, and then I'm like, all right, fuck, I don't want someone else to go through that. And that keeps me, like, when I'm not inspired, remembering what I'm running away from is very powerful. That's the only thing that's going to get you to be consistent, and even if you fall off the bandwagon, to come back. Because if not, there's too many things to distract you, and there's too many people who are going to tell you not to do it, and there's too many mothers and parents that are going to say, well, maybe you should just get a traditional. Like there's too much fear and distraction out there, that if you are not anchored into a why that is personal to you and emotional, you're not going to have the fortitude to do it, you know.
Dude, gold. One thing, and we'll get out of here so we can get to work. That is solid. I'm so glad that's on. I didn't know what wiggle meant until you told me just now, and I've been using the word wiggle, but now I know what it means.
I just meant it.
No, it is true how you said that, how it's anchored in something that like you're running away from, or it's anchored in a pain that you had at one time, and now you're trying to work through that. And that is so freaking solid. But when it comes to this, it's like, if the way I know that I'm about to do something that's good, or that is like, I know I should do it, is by the amount of inner head talk that I have convincing me to not do it. So it's like, that's how I know that I should do it. Like the other night, because I've been wanting to run like at least a mile a day every day. Because I'm like, and I keep telling myself, dude, you can do hard things. Like, just because it's hard doesn't mean you can't do it. Just you can do that. And it was like 10 o'clock at night, and I'm like, fuck, man, I do not want to run right now. Like, I just got off a call. My brain was just, I was melted by that. Like you can tell when your neurons are in there just smoking. They're like toast, and I'm like, and it was dark out and it was kind of cool out. And I'm like, this feeling you have right now is the feeling that basically, with pure certainty and assurance, you need to put your damn shoes on and just go out there and run. And I ran like shit for like the first, and I ended up running 1.5 miles, which ain't shit, but it is when your ass has been sitting in a chair all the time and you haven't been running a lot. And I'm out there and I'm just like running, and I'm like, and I'm just like getting in my breath, and I'm like, dude, what the? But I was like, you did it, bitch. You're out here doing it. Like, and I had my shoes. I was like, I just went and put my shoes on, and I just walked out the door, and I was like, just go, move your legs. And I had to like act my way into a feeling. And it's funny, like when you go to do hard things, here's what will start happening. You'll start organizing your desk because you're trying to find control. And you're trying to avoid that, like do the video, you're like, I got to shoot this video. And you're like, let me double check it. Maybe I can tweak it here, do it little. And I'll start doing that. And I'm like, dude, just press record and go. Like, you'll figure it out while you're flying, like jump out of the airplane. And I remember when I went skydiving, dude, I watched people, they were like, it was like you were pushing them to their death. I mean, they were so scared. And I watched all that and I got up there and I just said, let's go. And I just jumped. And he's like, dude, I've never seen anybody just leap out like that. He's like, you've never skydived before? I was like, no. And I just, cause I was like, I'm here in this damn airplane. I'm going to jump out of this thing. And yeah, it could end up bad. And you know, it's like, that's careless or whatever, but it was just like, it was so freeing. And I'm like, so many times with this, you have to just, when you start feeling that, like you feel the resistance, you'll fight it to the core and convince yourself of all the reasons why you can't do that video, or you can't just write the email because you got to make sure that you're using copywriting formulas and templates and frameworks and all this shit, or that you can't teach that because who are you to teach that? That's the fight. When you're in your brain, you're saying, who am I to be able to do that? Or you don't know that well enough to be teaching it or talking on social media about it. At the same time that this is happening, and when even in that run, when I when I went to go do the run, I was like, dude, what's the worst that's going to happen? And if you think through all the things that you're scared to do right now, because you might break it or mess it up, or somebody might see you not at your best, or you're not as smart looking as you want to look, or you're not as whatever, what's the worst that can happen? Can you deal with that? Just that feeling, I want you to be alerted to, like, that feeling, because that's that thing. That's where that's where mediocrity and like resistance, like you not getting what you think you deserve, or that you know you can deserve it. That thing in your life where you know you can have, like you feel worthy of success. Like, I can do this, man. I can be successful. I can make this money, or I can have this ability, or I can help these people. That little bit there, that where you get to that point where you're like, yeah, I need to do my video today, my value train. I got to go live. I got to email out short form, long form. That feeling of resistance of you not wanting to do it should be the alertion that that's the right thing to do. I'll create some video content sometime. I'll be like, damn, this is like what I'm about to give them for free right now. I could charge for that. That's when I know I should give it away for free. It's like, there's this powerful place in yourself that it's telling you all the time. You feel the resistance. You feel the resistance of, there's a building being, they're building a fire department down the road here. Like, and I'm like, they have built that fire department, and that's like a project, right? Like, that's some like real shit. Like, they're building the foundation. I mean, they started with dirt. And I'm like, they will have an entire fire department built out of concrete and rebar and electronics and HVAC and everything before somebody even puts a funnel together. And they've got an army of people out there, and they're like working on this thing. And I'm like, there's people that they'll have this fire department built on the planet before somebody builds their 4 pages and puts their VSL in the. Everybody thinks about, how do you do a VSL? Just do it. You want to do a VSL? Press record and be like, all right, guys, here's what I do. And if you have these problems, and just put that out there. And then what happens when people watch it? Because that's why I love Wistia, because it shows the little heat map of where they watched it again and they came back and watched it again. And I'm like, man, gets to here and it just drops off. You go to that part of the video and you're like, everything was good until there. What happened? You're like, then you shoot it again. And then you shoot it again until you just,
and even the Google, and even the Google Doc that you gave, like the Google Doc VSL, like start with that. You know what I
That
mean?
baby works.
Yeah.
It's the one you should start with, because as you do that one, you'll learn, like, maybe I should show them a picture of what I said there. Because if you can't do the Google Doc one, you sure as hell, you're going to beat your head in trying to make this other one. Because I used to try to teach martial arts business owners how to do a VSL that was all pretty and fancy and all that shit. And that was like trying to lift the Titanic by myself. It was so difficult because they hate the computer, it seems like. And I'm just like, just tell them, just show them what you're doing to help people. And by God, it worked. And so it's like, for you, don't get hung up on these little things. Because a lot of times when I hear people, well, I can't figure out what domain name, just pick one. If you can't figure out that, Jesus criminy, you have no chance helping somebody. You leaving? All right. See ya. Peace out, brother. So, thank you so much for everything today. It was awesome. You guys connect with Fitzgerald. He's a real ass dude. Go check him out. You'll see. The thing is just, I want you to trust in yourself. And when you're feeling that resistance, that's usually when you know you need to do it, and just do it. Just turn on the camera and do it. Don't worry about all the stuff. I'm telling you, that's the way through. Be willing, dogs don't bark at parked cars. Be willing to be action. Like, be willing to act. Even if it's imperfect, even if it's sloppy, you're still doing more than 99% of people that are thinking about acting. They're thinking about, will it work or won't it work? While the other guys, you're watching his paint dry. And that's the damn truth. The only reason other people are doing what you want to do and you're not is because you're thinking about doing it, and they're just out there freaking it up, like messing it up and doing it. And they're willing to be criticized. They're willing to be looked down on. They're willing because that's what happens when you're a mover. They're like, dude, that dude's crazy. And then he does it. And then he's like a genius. But you don't see all the failures. And that's where it's like, I've had people comment and tell me, they're like, you could at least iron the collar of your shirt before you do a video. I'm like, where's your video? I've had people tell me that I have white speckles. There's one right here. That's what they comment on. I'm like, can we focus on what I'm telling you is not that I'm not talking to crap on nobody, and I'm not talking, what I'm telling you is those are people that are actually wishing they could do what you're doing. And you had the courage to just do it. And so all I really want for you is, let's get these basic things put together. Your 4-page funnel, so that when they click here, they at least go to here. And if they click here, they go to here. And then let's have the emails that if they click here and go to here and go to here, but they don't buy, the emails just keep reminding them about what they were going to do. And you're helping them to see that it is a good idea and that they should go back and get it. Just like imagine you had a store, and a person walks into the store and they're like, you sell fishing poles, and they walk in and then they're getting ready to leave and they didn't buy anything. And you're like, well, sir, did you, because you don't just go to a fishing pole store, just like nobody's going to just opt into your funnel unless there was something that intrigued them, or there was something that you were presenting that they were like, when they get in there and they don't buy, they came in there for something and they didn't find it. They didn't see what was maybe there. So you have to, just like you would in their story, you're like, sir, can I help you find something? What are you looking for? That's the follow-up part. That's in the emails. You can do that. Hey, I noticed you went and watched my video that I made you about showing you how we fix your problem. And I noticed you didn't get started. Was it Was it maybe me? I didn't explain it, or was it maybe not what you were looking for? Either way, maybe you didn't even get to watch the whole thing because you were busy. I don't know. Maybe you should just go back and watch it again. And if you have a question, please ask me. Oh, and by the way, here's another video that I made that kind of shows you a little part of that. Maybe I'll clear up each and every little step for you so that you can plug it all together. That's how you think about the follow-up. You're just helping them across that barrier, across the line, because they don't understand the little parts and pieces the first time they see it. They need clarity on that. So when you're doing your videos on social media, that's why I said you pull it out of the source. What part of the program or what part of the thing is it that I do that they might not clearly understand? But if they did, they would then maybe connect those dots and get it. So you have to, with your social media, you're constantly in your content, you're constantly helping them understand each little piece of the thing. Well, Mike, then if I tell them everything about what it is or what, all this stuff, then they won't buy it. Prove it. Prove that to me. Because it's never been that case. It's always been, man, I finally get it. I see it. Now I want to get in there and get some help to do it. So that's what I want for you, is just do it. Don't quit questioning if it's right or wrong. You've got inside a Build Lab. I'm giving you the principles, the structure, the parts and pieces, and I'm showing you what's there to do this so much, right? All right, Ricardo, you're welcome, brother. Yeah, we're going to get out of here too. But I really please, I can't help you if you don't ask questions, number one. How could I? Number two is go ahead and just borrow my belief right now, and please just go do it. Like, you are right there. I just want you to do it and not worry about what it's named or what you look like or what you're wearing or whether you can show bags of money in the background or walls of gold. Just go do it. And people will be like, man, I like that guy. You know how many people come to me literally and they're just like, dude, I could tell you were a real guy. I could tell that you were a real dude, and I liked the way you presented the stuff, and I wanted to come learn, and I'm like, gosh, what a compliment for me. Cause that's like, thank God I can be myself, and they like that. But it's interesting that everybody likes you for that too. But you just have to do it. Go fail, go mess it up. Have you ever heard Go for No? Have you ever heard of that book, Go for No? They're like, it's like a sales book or whatever. And it's an older book and it's like all 80s looking and stuff, but it's Go for No. It's like, go get 100 no's a day. Like a sales thing, like go knock on 100 doors, go get told 100. You don't ever make it. I used that book when I started my agency, my marketing agency. I was like, I'm going to go to 100 businesses a day. And if they shoo me out with a broom, then I guess that's going to happen. And I would just I would go there. I would look at their business. I'd find it on social media. And if they had a crappy Facebook or a crappy Instagram or whatever, they weren't online and they had a crappy website, I'd walk in there and I'd say, hey, I went to your thing and I noticed this stuff and I could make it better. And by God, I swear to you, I'm not lying to you. I could bring my family into a vouch. I went out like 2 times and I had like 10 clients. And it saved the day. And then I just built upon that. And I learned such a lesson there. And so if you go out, just go shoot me 100 YouTube videos and just pull it from your source, which is your product, the way you solve problem. Just pull all your videos out of there. I don't know what video to make. I don't know what video you're going to make either. But what I do know you're going to do is you're going to share with me how part of what you do gets me to the place I'm trying to get to. And that's what you need to think about. What could you just pull a piece out of it? Like right now, I've got why do you think that we do the 9 pillars with the 3 modules and the 3 actions? Because now you have 81 things that you can choose from. Pick one of the colors out of your 81 palette and tell us why that color matters for the picture. Show us why do you have that action step in pillar number 4? How does that get me closer to what I'm trying to do? And just share that with me. And then make sure to remind them, this is just one color out of the 81 colors that you need to use to get the picture painted that you're trying to paint. And that's how you can refer to that. And just think about that. Guys, this is just one of the things that you need to have in place in order to get this thing to do this deal. And then guess what they're going to want? What naturally came to your brain when I said that? Well, what's the other colors? How do I paint those on there? Or whatever it is. And just do it. Pick you something. Nobody knew what Google meant. What does Nike mean? Nobody knew. Reebok? What the hell is that? Is that a character in Star Wars? Like what? No, these are just names. These are just sounds. Zoom? That means video conferencing, huh? You know, I mean, think about it. Like NASA. Well, we know now that it's, you hear NASA and you immediately think space shuttle and space. But NASA? Like, so don't worry about what the domain is, the name of your product. I mean, if you can find something that works, great. But don't let that be the thing that, oh, yeah, I was going to do it, but I couldn't think of a name for 60 days. Gosh darn it. This stuff is hard. It's like, dude, just, man, just do it. Just pick one and go. You can change it. My Lord. Facebook changed their name to Meta. Like, I mean, they were just like, yeah, let's go ahead and take something that everybody refers to. You know, like that is crazy. You know, whatever. But anyhow, all right. I'm not going to keep talking because you guys need it. We need to get to doing it. But I hope, you know, I hope today was a great call in my opinion. Some really great nuggets in here, but my biggest one is I hope you just do that thing that you're just thinking about doing because you'll think you'll mess it up and just go do it. Like, just go do it. Literally go make the ugliest pie you've ever seen. If you're scared to make that pie, just go make the sloppiest, ugliest pie. And then when you get done, look at it and be like, man, that shit, I need to fix it right there because oof. And that's what happens. But you never get the chance to fix it if you don't have anything to look at to fix. How on earth can you fix your shot if you don't take one? How can you? I mean, do you feel this? Like, are you like, it's like, oh yeah, I guess. Like you can sit there and think about that VSL all day, or you can just shoot one and watch it back and be like, well, probably need to take that part out, you know, and then, you know, and you can edit shit, you know, you can do it again. Put your funnel together and look at it and be like, if it doesn't intrigue you, it sure as hell probably is not going to intrigue them. But you will never know unless you have one. You don't even know until you do it. So just do it. And then look at it afterwards. Bring it to the show here. Bring it to the thing. And we'll all look at it and be like, damn, bruh, I don't know about that one. Maybe we ought to tweak it a little bit. And you got to take some tough love. But that's what we're here for. We're here to get better. We're here to grow. And you've got everybody. We've got people on that can help us. And we can come up with an average, ideal for that. And we can say, yeah, it's good. Or no, I don't know, man. I would maybe tweak it a little bit. But can we have something to look at? Can we have something to tweak? Just do it. You'll find out if you can sell it or not. But you'll never know. You can't think through this. This is not a thinking project. This is a doing thing. You cannot get this to work without doing it and then looking at it. And just inch by inch, you're there. Go make your course. Let's see what it looks like. See you, brother. Thank you for jumping on. You know what I mean? So, all right, we're all going to get out of here because otherwise, you know me, we'll be here till Friday and I'm still yapping. So thank you guys for getting on. You guys can always interrupt me. You guys can always ask questions in the comments. You can unmute and just be like, Mike, can you shut up for a minute? I got a question. Or however you want to do it. But I appreciate all of you. If you're just joining for the first time, the recordings are always going to be in the members area afterwards. You're welcome, Bill. And appreciate you being here. Thank you guys for showing up. My God, that's so freaking huge just to show up. So I appreciate you. You can reach out to me in the community. You can ask questions in the community. You can get on these calls and ask questions. You can reach out to me and chat on the system or in Skool, sorry. And I'm working on Build App every single day. We're going to be just every day. There'll be modules coming out into that thing. So, and then we're going to go through it again and make it better. All right. Do your thing, pick your thing, do your thing, do it. That's the motto today. All right. Peace out.